2028. David, my brother won $800 on a 7-leg parlay. Mark, I found out though that it was a risk-free bet, whatever that means. I think it's because he opened his account.
Okay.
So yeah, it was like up to $100, no sweat, whatever. So he just
all right.
It makes a lot more sense. It was just 7 money lines, 7 favorites. It was like 8-1.
Morning, Spitz, AJC, Baby Jules. Just putting the bills together, guys. Came home, got to check the mail.
What time did you get back?
Oh, traffic sucked. Golly. 5-hour trip took 6.5 hours.
Ugh.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute. There was a lot of traffic in Florida the end of February?
Yeah, but think about when I was traveling, though. I mean, I'm traveling the best time of day, 10:30 to 4, something like that. I mean, I-75 was awful. Everything else was, once you get off I-75, it was fine. But, man.
Now, do you go up through Ocala into 10 that way?
I go to Ocala and then take 301.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 70. Wow. Just for Sarasota Bradenton's, man, they got to widen that road there. It's 3 lanes ain't enough. They need a minimum 4. And they got the land to do it too, just before Sarasota Bradenton and after. God. There was a 12-mile stretch where.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this first day of March. How's your week gone? Will it be another Football Friday? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Mark, I must say, your haircut looks great.
Why, thank you, David. Thank you for noticing.
Oh, I notice haircuts.
I'd shaved for your mother, too.
And I didn't.
I
good, thanks.
Got up this morning and the fresh haircut, and I'm getting right. I says, I probably should shave because David's mom's going to watch on Twitch.
Right.
And I don't want a fresh haircut and be unshaven and have her shake her head at me.
Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. That's how the two of us see each other every morning. And Trent can pop on as well from time to time. We see which 1980s, 90s, or whatever jersey he's wearing for his Michigan sports teams. Trent, I do have a big question. I know you played the Heat last night because they were part of a boost.
Correct.
What did you get the Heat at?
I got the Heat at minus or plus 6.5.
Oh, winner, chicken dinner.
Snuck right by, David. It was great. Thank God, because our system didn't do so well.
No. You know why? February 29th.
The system apparently doesn't work on leap days.
It's a 365-day-a-year system. Once we go to 366, just have to remember that. Do you think we'll be doing a show next leap day?
I hope so.
I know we both hope so. In fact, that could be the poll question. All right. Do you think Miller and Moulton will be doing a show February 29th, 2028? That's pretty snarky. It's pretty glass. Is that glass half full or glass half
I
empty?
don't. It depends on how you vote.
Well, what's the over under on years left for you guys? What would you set it at?
To live or
No,
as a
no.
show? Okay.
As a
No,
show, as a show, David has told me he is going to attempt to get my daughter through high school.
No. Not even attempt. I have committed. All right. I will definitely. Your daughter's in 4th grade, right?
Right.
So, 8 more after, 8 and change. So, do the math. So
Well,
I've
definitely.
committed to the spring, summer of 2032.
We've committed to 2 more leap days.
I was going to say, you've got 2 more, not just one.
We've
Correct.
committed. There are other elements
Right.
involved.
Right. Trent, I don't know if you know, this is our 3rd act. Okay. So we have been committed to doing this show for a long time. Others have lost their commitments with us.
For one reason or another.
Right. Well, I mean, it's all the same reason. I mean, it's not quality of the show or ratings. It's all the other stuff.
Exactly.
Well, let's just take it one leap year at a time.
You know what, Trent? That's Miller and Moulton taking it 1 leap year at a time. Might be another T-shirt.
Trent's thinking to himself, I don't even know if I'm going to do a year with these guys. What the heck are they talking about? My goodness. But so, all right. Yesterday, it was a bit of a dark day for me because I turn on NFL radio and I'm listening to guys do a show live in which midway through their discussions, they're blurting out 40 times. And I'm paying attention.
I was trying to figure out where, as we've told our listeners, we are very honest with our listeners. There are times that people get really upset and don't like a guest, or there were people in the Twitch chat room that hated the fun we had with Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. And for a week, we did a segment where Trent picked out songs that were Taylor Swift songs and made up fake titles, and the 2 old guys had to determine which one was the song and which one wasn't. We were having a little fun. In fact, an old producer of ours texted, thought it was brilliant, but listeners hated it. Well, they have the opportunity to hit the button, log off, do whatever, and not listen. I mean, we've always said that.
Right.
You have the ultimate power.
Right.
You paid for that show because it was on Sirius Radio that you subscribed to, but there are plenty of other channels. You could have gone to Spectrum and maybe listened to a little new rock and roll. You could have gone to MLB and gotten spring training updates, but you logged in for 40 times and stuck with them.
Well, I didn't log in for 40 times. See, they started springing them on me. And like you just mentioned, like there were people who listened to our show. And then when we did our Taylor Swift segment, which by the way, was no more than 8 minutes, usually was 5. And half our audience just completely freaked out and said, I'm done with you. You guys suck. Okay. But so the 40 times start being read to me. And I find myself getting more interested. I find myself turning the volume up. I'm almost like leaning forward in my driver's seat. And then like 13 miles later down the road, I'm arguing with myself. What is wrong with you? What is your problem? Okay, this is shorts, T-shirts. All right. I mean, for goodness sakes, Rich Eisen's going to run one before the week's up. I mean, who cares? All right. How many times is this, relevant in the game? The old Bum Phillips line in which Earl Campbell came in dead last in the mile run. And the reporter one time asked him, okay, what do you think about Earl Campbell not finishing the mile run? And he said, well, when it's 3rd and a mile, I'll take him out. But yes, so yesterday was, maybe I was just emotionally fragile. Maybe it's the leap day. Okay. But I found myself paying attention and getting excited. Okay, a little bit of, he broke 4.5. Got to remember him. May want my team to grab him. Think he'll fall early 2nd round?
Well, And David, I may have done one worse last week because I got sucked into an article about about combine freaks, the guy who's are going to run the really low 40 times at different positions, and that will cause people like you driving in their car to go,
What we had on, who did we have on earlier this week? And we asked him, no, you asked the question. You said, what is it that, at the combine that you need to essentially ignore? And he said 40 times. He said, I get absolutely overwhelmed by speed, and some guys are just fast, but they can't play. And I thought that going into the combine, but then they'll run really, really fast and I'll be enamored with them. And that's my mistake. And those guys get jobs for 5-6 years because everybody thinks, well, he's really fast and I'll make him a player. No, he's not a player. He's just really fast. So yesterday I was the scout falling victim to the speed.
on radio.
On radio. Thank you.
Let's make sure we get that in.
Yes, on radio.
So
correct.
Second-hand 40.
At least. I mean, I'm not. First off, I think it's secondhand if you fall victim to it on TV. You're watching it, but it's not in person. In person is where it takes your breath away. Usually something is lost between the camera and your couch. Like there's rare moments where all of a sudden speed is on display in which you go, oh. I mean, usually you have to see it in person. So on radio, to me, I think I'm like, it's not even secondhand. It's third hand on radio to me. And I'm leaning forward in my seat. I'm starting to speed. The volume's getting turned up. Oh, Penn State kid broke 4.5. Oh. Yeah. So needless to say.
Do you mean the D lineman from Penn State broke 4.5?
Yeah, and he was.
Wait a minute. That's one of the freaks that I was reading about. Yeah, that's
and he's was only the second fastest edge guy, right? Oh yeah. Oh, we've got names and numbers coming up in the starting five. Don't you kid yourself? Yep. So I think, plus also a 5-hour trip took 6.5 hours. So I was emotionally fragile yesterday, and I fell victim to it. I did.
Well, David, I did not fall victim to that, but I fell victim nonetheless. Yesterday was the daughter's first softball game of the season. And the coach, who listens to the show, super nice guy, college football referee, is doing a great job with all the girls. I commend him for his patience that he has with these young ladies. But he tapped me on the shoulder yesterday. Can you do the scoreboard?
Oh, so
I don't know if anybody understands my role in the whole youth parents. I'm a driver.
Right.
I drive her. I drop her off. I sit there. I say nothing. And if I say anything, it's a good play to whomever made it. Either team. I'm the one that gets looks from the parents on our side when the first baseman from the opposing team makes a stab of a line drive. I'm like, ooh, nice play first. Way to go. And I get the looks from all my parents because it could have been a double in the alley.
Right. But
there's nothing more inconsequential than the outcome of a U10 softball game. Nothing. Except for maybe a U9 soccer game. I'm not sure which.
There's our poll question. What's more inconsequential, 40 times at the draft or the outcome of a U10 softball game or a U9 soccer game? There it is. That's our poll question. And I still think it might be the 40 time. But anyway.
But what happens is I start watching, it's my daughter. I'm watching the game. And all of a sudden, oh, crap. Did I hit the ball? Is it 2-1? Is it 2-0?
Oh, yes, that's right.
There was one batter that I went, oh, crap. I'm like, Blue, what's the count? What's the count, Blue? And he turns around, gives me 2-1. I'm like, all right, we're good.
You got it right. You were right.
I was right.
Isn't that? It's kind of like when you're driving and you daydreamed and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened the last 3 miles? All right. Yeah, you can't daydream during an at-bat. I told you I was the official scorer in a couple of college basketball games. Had to put on the striped shirt and everything. Most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in sports. Got to make sure the referee signaling the foul. You got to make sure you write down the right person, because what I put down is official. It's not what's on the scoreboard. It's not what the referee's telling me. It's what I write in the book is official. Coach comes over. So-and-so got 4 fouls? I go, yeah. You sure? And you inside, you go, no.
Maybe.
I think so.
So yeah, no longer just a fan in the stands. They put me to work last night. And on top of it, he didn't even say Mark. He said Mr. Miller. So he called me old and then told me to run the scoreboard. Miller and Moulton, starting 5, 25 minutes away.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Come on, guys. Don't make me do tech time. You know what that means.
How do you guys feel about Lunchables?
How
do you feel about Lunchables?
I'm not 6. I wouldn't feed them to my daughter.
I love them.
Mark.
I'm done taking this kid out to eat.
Mark, get ready to do your impression. Trent, there's only one redeeming quality of Lunchables. Mark, what is it? The Westwood One voice guy.
Oh, that was Ritz. That's Ritz Munchables.
Munchables.
You know the Westwood One voice, the deep voice voiceover guy?
Yeah.
This is 5-7 years ago. Ritz Munchables were the sponsor of the NCAA tournament. NCAA basketball brought to you by Ritz Munchables. Eat them or die.
That's how his voice sounded. Whatever the tag was on Munchables, He reads it with a slow, even deeper emphasis. And we start laughing, listening to it. We're calling each other up. Is that a sponsor read or a threat? Mark goes, I think he's threatening us.
That's pretty good.
So we played it the next day on the show, and we both start trying to do the impression. Mark goes, Ritz Munchables, eat here or eat them or we'll kill you.
That's great.
First off, they're a ripoff. For the amount of food that you get for how much money it is, it's terrible.
It's just the convenience of it.
How can it be more convenient than a hot dog?
I don't have to cook this.
You have no idea how old the meat is in a Lunchable. That meat could have been there. You got it out of the vending machine here, or did you bring it from home?
Gas station.
Oh, well, I stand corrected.
You bought a Lunchable at a gas station?
It was $3.99.
Oh, my God. You wouldn't buy the hot dogs that they're rolling? That could have been there.
I do that. When I go on road trips, I always do that. I think we talked about this once. I like to stop and get like the, what do you call them? The torpedoes. Those are pretty good. They're okay. Quick and easy.
God.
So you get your last meal.
Yeah.
What would your last meal be?
Some kind of steak.
Okay. All right.
Some kind of steak with potatoes.
Okay.
I mean, that is my favorite meal. Number one.
All right. At least it's good food. All right. I'm
not gonna come at you with.
I didn't know if it was gonna be like McDonald's, because David's might be a number 3 supersized.
David's would be like
It'd either be
White
prime.
Castles.
It'd either be prime rib, a bag of White Castles, or a number 3 with a double cheeseburger on the side.
It'd be 2 sacks of Castles. If they're lighting me up, okay, then it'd be 2 sacks.
Ryro, I would get it cooked medium rare. That is always the go-to for me.
And filet mignon's the most overrated steak on the planet.
Agreed. I mean, it's good. It just gets talked about like
It's
all right. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? I hope your week's gone well, and thanks for ending it with us, Miller and Moulton. We're here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm getting old, and occasionally I find myself longing for things of yesteryear. And I have to admit, I've been thinking a lot about that with all the changes going on in college sports. I'm a big college sports guy. At times, I've gone back and forth. I grew up, I was more into Sundays and Saturdays. Then probably in my years in which I'm becoming middle-aged, I was into Saturdays more than Sundays. Now I'm getting into Sundays more than Saturdays again. But the changes to college sports are really bothering me. The conference realignment stuff is just unseemly to me. So little things, Mark, have really, touched me lately. And you got into softball at a young age. You liked watching competitive softball. And when I broke into the business, you covered high school sports. Friday night was big. The high school basketball tournaments, watching Bobby Sura carry 4 stiffs to the state final in Pennsylvania one year was just amazing for me. But then I went to North Dakota, and obviously it borders Minnesota. Well, Mark, in the legend that is high school sports in America, arguably the two greatest high school tournaments are the Indiana basketball tournament and the Minnesota hockey tournament.
Absolutely. I don't think I'd be hard pressed to find another one to throw into that mix.
Now, some people who live in that part of the country now think that they've ruined it, like they've ruined the Indiana basketball tournament because they made it bigger. Okay, that to get to state was everything. What you did in state was not, that was the icing. But if you got just getting to state was everything. Now more teams get to state. But Mark, it's still, you got to get through your either section or region. I forget what they call it. I think it's section in Minnesota hockey. And for years, like War Road and Roseau in the extreme northern part of the state were in the same section. War Road was the Christian brothers. So, Roseau was the Broughton brothers. And they were the same age at the same time. And they played in the section final every year. And basically when they were playing, you're like, well, this is probably the state final. And, they're just playing on a Tuesday night in either War Road or Roseau in front of 2,000 fans. And this is probably the state final. Well, Mark, something happened last night, which made me feel like a 15-year-old again. So they got this team in Minnesota who's the defending state champ. They got 9 kids already signed that are going to play Division I hockey off this one high school team. 9. They're undefeated. Mark, you know how hard it is to be unbeaten in hockey. Hockey. When, bounce of a puck, a hot goalie, couple of, the other team gets a few penalty calls and scores a couple power play goals. I mean, undefeated. They haven't lost all year. They're the defending state champs. They had beaten their last 11 opponents 78-6. They're playing in the section final against a school who's never gone to state before. And maybe it's also because we were talking about the Miracle on Ice a lot this year and had Mike Eruzione on and what happened. Sure enough, they lose 2-1 to this team who's never gone to state before. And this juggernaut. I mean, they're writing stories a few weeks ago in Minnesota about, is this going to go down as one of the greatest high school hockey teams of all time? In Minnesota! I mean, if you're remotely into hockey, the players that have come out of Minnesota is a staggeringly long list.
And it's one of the final places where they actually still play high school hockey. I mean, they play it in other places, but the travel programs, the junior programs,
right,
that's what gets kids into college. In fact, most kids at 18 don't even go to college in hockey. They play junior until they're 19 or 20 and enter as freshmen that are 20 years old. So what this team was doing is unprecedented.
So Chanhassen beat Minnetonka 2-1 last night. And people who have covered this for a very long time are like, this is like one of the 3 biggest upsets in the last 50 years. And I don't know. It was something I needed this week, Mark. I just needed it. That's sports. That's why we love sports. That's why any damn thing can happen.
Who was it again?
Chanhassen, who had never been to states before, played Minnetonka, which is near the Twin Cities. Loaded. 9 kids already signed playing high D1 hockey. I mean, I don't think the announcer said, "Do you believe in miracles?" But it was big. And I needed it. I did. I'm like, oh, cool. This is what sport. Okay, we still have this in sports. Great. It's not all about how many playoff spots can I secure even before the season starts. Okay, good. Doesn't matter how much we suck. We're guaranteed 4 teams, right? Okay, good. It's all about Fox, ESPN. What do you guys think? This is just This is the purity of the sport. I needed it, Mark. I did.
In Minnesota, high school hockey gave it to you.
I did. And to see, also, you never see this in hockey, kids climbing the boards. They jumped up on top of the boards and were standing on the little ledge where the glass and the boards connect. And, you got their section of fans and then their team. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. You know why? Because
we had an ice storming is what you're telling me.
Damn near. I mean, they weren't on the ice, but they got as close to it as possible. And you know what? Why I needed it? Because now it's going to bring us into March Madness. Now, here we go.
Well,
yeah.
this tournament should be bat blank crazy with the lack of great teams out there. There should be a lot of 2s, 3s, and 4s that go down. Who knows if a 1 will go down early, but I have the sense that this tournament will bring a lot of chaos again, David.
Well, and Mark, what's next week? It's our favorite week. Now, it's not bigger than the tournament, but it's our favorite week of the quote-unquote regular season. Next week is small conference tournament week. Next week is one bid league week.
And that's when it gives some of these teams hope. But at the same time, I don't want some of these little teams because there have been a lot of low majors and low mid majors who have really good teams this year that have put together 24 and 25 win season. Teams like Grand Canyon, could they come up and pull off an upset? But they've got to win their conference tournament first.
I know.
And there are a handful of those teams out there, David, that I'm really rooting for to take care of business in their small conference tournaments because you want them to have a shot against the big boys.
I agree. I want to see the Valley get 2 teams. I do. But I just love next week because man, everybody's playing hard. I mean, when the week begins, even if you win 11-19 on the season, you're 3 wins away from the madness, baby. And then you win that first game. You turn, Mark, it's like us as hockey fans. Heading into the playoffs to win the cup seems like, we can't climb that mountain. You win the first round series. That's it. You're on the winning end of the first handshake line. You start looking around going, we can do this.
Oh, been there many a time working for a minor league team and win that first round and everything changes.
You know what? We're pretty good. We just underachieved. We're peaking at the right time.
Our goalie's hot. Here we go.
Yep. The starting 5 is next, and then Pat Kirwan.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David, I got to bang the 8-track today. We got to get back on track with this computer. It's fine right now, but the last few plays of the day, I can't. Space bar isn't working. Got to finish the week strong.
Or we could just stagger to the finish line. One or the other. It works out. It works either way.
Air conditioning's working today, David. It's on.
Unbelievable.
Blowing hard today.
So the 2 days I'm there, no air. Okay.
I'm freezing already.
So you get the fat guy in the studio, no cool. Like I need to be sitting in a sauna.
Well, actually, in theory, we both do.
You're right. Come to think of it. Never mind.
What are we doing for a poll question?
Well, today's National Peanut Butter Day. I mean, creamy or crunchy, or we could go with different brands. How about do something about today's Employee Appreciation Day?
Yeah, apparently it's everything day today.
Oh, I checked I don't check the list every day. I checked it today when I saw about peanut butter.
Have you guys seen the commercials of the Cadbury egg and the Reese's egg?
I've not.
It's a joint commercial. They're like, you can have both eggs. It's Easter. I don't know. It's like, which one's better? It's like, you can have both. Then it's a split screen. Yeah. So we could do Reese's with Cadbury, but Reese's would.
I mean, it is
destroy.
National Everything Day.
It is.
What else we got?
I'm looking. National Pig Day.
There's even a dad gum in a day.
That's National Dadgum That's Good Day.
See?
Yeah, no. You're not.
How does that even?
National Pig Day, bacon, ribs, or pork chops.
Okay.
I like that. What part of the pig are you eating?
What's your favorite part of the pulled pork, ribs, or bacon?
Yes, there you go.
Pork chops not making the list, huh?
I can put pork chops on there.
Got 4 options. Might as well.
It's National
Pig Day.
Pig Day.
Which part of the pig do you like best?
Which part of the pig do you like best?
You will not find this kind of.
No, you're not getting this anywhere else. Bacon, ribs,
bacon.
pulled pork.
By the way, look at you guys getting a poll question up at 6:36 in the first hour.
There we go.
Don't try to sweet talk us now.
Hey, every now and then it's just
If it's miracles,
comes organically.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
By the way, I had a buddy who texted me yesterday who absolutely loved the poll question from yesterday. The leap, the whole leap idea. That was very creative by Mark.
Once in a while.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us at the top of the hour. How about that? Kyle Sielaff, for the first time this year, the radio voice of the Marlins. He will join us top of the 8 o'clock hour. So a little football, a little baseball, and of course there's plenty of basketball as we're officially in the month of March. We'll see if it becomes the month of Izzo. It has at times. It hasn't lately. So we'll see. We'll see.
Not a lot of hope on this side of the cameras, David.
That's good. That's good because there have been too many times recently where there's been too much hype, quite frankly, too much based on what his teams have done in the past. So good. Go in with no expectations. Okay, go on a run from the play-in game, which, you know, I actually think it's possible Michigan State could be in Dayton.
I think it's a very strong possibility. They're going to lose to Purdue. And depending on what they do in the Big Ten tournament, they could very well be a play-in team.
Yep. But before we get going here, I did something I don't normally do before the show. Research. Well, a certain kind of research. I
thought you were going to say talk to your co-host.
Folks don't know how funny that is. So we haven't been great with poll questions this week. Even when we've come up with them, we've been late. So I was curious. I'm like, is there anything going on today? And I do something I don't normally do. You usually do it. I look up what day's today? Are we celebrating anything today? And so it got my attention. I saw that today's National Peanut Butter Day. And I went, okay. I'm a sucker for peanut butter. I love peanut butter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My wife has a special spoon just for the peanut butter. She bought a peanut butter. It's a long spoon so that you can dip right down to the bottom of the peanut butter.
So she doesn't like getting a peanut butter on her nails? Okay,
Correct.
when you got it. Wow. A special peanut butter spoon.
Yeah, it even says peanut butter spoon on it.
That's unbelievable. Please take a picture and send it to me.
I will.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I have newfound respect for her or not. I'll have to think about that throughout the show. But I saw also there's a day today that has the word dadgum in it.
As a matter of fact, there is. Today, David, is
Bobby Bowden somehow it's not National Bobby Bowden Day, but in a way it is.
National Dadgum That's Good Day. I mean, today is the global day of unplugging, which I don't recommend that anybody does because I want you to listen to the show. If you want to unplug at 10:01.
There you go. But today's also
National Pig Day.
National Pig Day.
Yep.
So what do you do on the farm with today? I mean, do you give them extra food? I mean, what is this?
Or do you whack them?
Well, come on. You can't do that on National Pig Day. But our poll question is because it's National Pig Day. Huh? How many shows around the country are doing that?
It's National Pig Day. Which part of the pig do you like best? Bacon, ribs, pulled pork, or pork chops? It'll be our leading vote total of the week, David. I can almost guarantee it.
Of all time, it'll probably be. Yes. National Pig Day. Sports, not interested. Ooh, what part of the pig? Ooh, let me think.
I still think Miami Aliens will probably remain number one forever.
Yeah, it might. It might. So anyway, that's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton. I think I just retweeted it. I don't know. I maybe just liked it. I don't know. I'll get around to it. I promise.
Fair enough.
Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, Mark, like I told you, the combine rolls on. Yesterday was the edge rushers. Ho, baby. Alabama's Dallas Turner, Penn State's Chop Robinson. How can you not get excited about a defensive player named Chop?
Oh, on National Pig Day.
Well, it was technically
I know,
day,
but
yeah, we're talking about it on National Pig Day. Dallas Turner ran a 4.4640, and Chop Robinson ran a 4.48. These are edge rushers, sub 4.5. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the greatest draft of all time. 9 quarterbacks in the first round, 7 receivers, and a bunch of corners and edge rushers that are really fast. 8 of the 9 quarterbacks are going to suck. Think about it 3 years ago. I mean, remember we had the 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 15? Do we want to go through the list? Trevor Lawrence is clearly the best of the bunch. Zach Wilson went second. Trey Lance went third. And then you had Fields and Mac Jones. I mean, that's 3 years ago. None of the 5 have lived up to...
No.
Because even Trevor is like, well, he's good, but he's inconsistent and he's not great. He was supposed to be great.
He is. If he were in any other place, this year would be such a make-it-happen year for Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. I mean, quite frankly, Trevor should all the heat that was on Tua heading into 2024, a lot of that same heat should be on Trevor heading into
100%. And I'm a Trevor guy, but you're in Jacksonville. It's a one-team town. Right. He doesn't get the heat that he would get in other markets.
Please, Mark, they have a picture of Trevor Lawrence at the Players' Championship in the commercial to sell tickets to go to the Players' Championship. Just him being at the golf tournament. They have a 2-second shot of Trevor Lawrence watching the golf in the 30-second commercial. That's how big he is in this area of the state. Imagine when he gets really good. Right. Anyway, the Vikings told running back Alexander Madison, yeah, we're going to cut you. Remember, it was a year ago they cut Cook for Madison. So now they're going to save $3.4 million there. And Cowboys owner Jerry Jones had a bad day yesterday. And they didn't even draft anybody. He lost his appeal. And basically, all the courts are making him take a paternity test. He's 81, and he's been married for over 60 years. But there's a 27-year-old woman named Alexandra Davis who's convinced that, he's her baby daddy. And he's apparently paid her millions of dollars because he didn't want anybody to know that. But she wants to know for sure. She's not suing him for money because she can't because her mom signed that away. But she just wants to know. And so And Jerry apparently privately wouldn't say, yes, I am. And so she's like, well, then I guess I'm going to have to publicly embarrass you and do this. And she keeps winning. So Jerry has to, take a paternity test.
Boy, in the De Niro, Pacino, Tony Randall realm there with the...
Well, she's 27, so it was when Jerry was in his mid-50s. NBA. The Heat lost, which is news in and of itself with how well they've been playing lately, but they did play Denver in Denver. Got off to a bad start, played from behind the whole way. Denver beat a 103-97. That's a 6-point loss, but the Heat were getting 6.5. Miami is technically the 8th seed right now in the East. There are 5 teams within a game of each other in the loss column in the East. From the Knicks at 4 to the Heat at 8. They're separated by a game in the loss column. Philly, Orlando, Indiana, Miami. Yeah, this is going to be actually entertaining for seeding. You can be a really good team and be in the play-in in the East. And the West, for that matter, because right now Golden State and the Lakers are 9-10. Orlando beat Utah by 8, 115-107. Golden State scored the first 14 points of the game, never looked back, beat the Knicks by 11. Don't look now, but Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks are A, playing well, and B, playing defense. In fact, since the All-Star break, they're top 5 in the league defensively. Now, the level of competition hasn't been great.
Thank you for pointing that out. I'm just... Because they've not played good teams.
Nope. And last night they played Charlotte and won 111-99. But just, we'll see. Apparently March, really difficult schedule. And so we'll see if the Bucks and whatever adjustments Doc has made are really going to pay off. By the way, San Antonio shocked OKC last night in San Antonio, 132-118. A lot of people think it was also the game within the game when Wembanyama against Chet Holmgren. Holmgren played well, 23.7 rebounds, but Wemby a little better, 25, 13, and the Spurs won. So Wemby's probably winning Rookie of the Year, and never mind the fact that Chet Holmgren's a second-year player, but he didn't play last year, so they still count him as a rookie. That's ridiculous. And the Lakers handed Washington their 13th straight loss. LeBron with 31, AD with 40. Lakers in overtime, 134-131. College hoops, our system sucked last night. All right. It would never use our system on a February 29th again. So remember that 4 years from now. St. Mary's, ranked 17th in the country on the road, won by 26. Gonzaga, ranked 23rd in the country on the road, won by 18. Against a pretty good San Francisco team who had 22 wins. They beat them on their home court by 18. Washington State rallied, beat USC, who hasn't this year, 75-72. We're sure the Ohio State interim guy can't get the gig, right? Because they just beat Nebraska last night, who's a tournament team, in Columbus, 78-69.
3 tournament teams he's beaten.
In 2 weeks, right. That's why I just asked the question yesterday. Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure, David.
I know you're pretty sure, but basically, is the window slightly open? Is the door slightly ajar?
There you go.
Anytime I can use a jar in
right.
Starting Five, I'm very happy.
Like my grandmother had a Chrysler, I think it was a LeBaron, and it was one of those back in the 80s. The first, it talked. So if your car, the door is ajar.
Yes. By the way, Michigan lost by 30 at Rutgers yesterday. They're 8-21. We're sure he's coming back?
No.
Jawan Howard, Mike Woodson. Who you betting on to come back?
Mike.
Women's hoops. Caitlin Clark announced she's going to the WNBA. South Carolina's 28-0. They beat Arkansas on the road by 37. Florida State lost. Florida lost. Miami won. FGCU won by 42 yesterday. That's their 25th win. FGCU and UConn are the only 2 women's programs that have won 25 games or more for 14 consecutive years. I just thought that was noteworthy. NHL, Lightning lost in overtime to Buffalo. Every point is valuable. They're 6 points clear of the Devils and the Islanders, but both those teams have 3 games in hand. So this is going to get really tight. Panthers needed a shootout, but they beat Montreal. They're in first in the East, tied with Boston, who beat Vegas 5-4, but the Panthers have a game in hand. Toronto doubled up Arizona. They're 4 points ahead of the Wings for the 3rd place in the division because the Wings lost at home to snap their 6-game skid to the Islanders 5-3. Seattle shut out Pittsburgh 2-0. This is a big road trip for the Penguins. They'll probably go from being buyers to being sellers if this continues. And Dallas moved into first in the division. They beat Winnipeg 4-1. Of course, Winnipeg has 4 games in hand on the Stars. PGA Tour, Palm Beach used to be the Honda Classic. Now it's the Cognizant Classic. It's suspended. 6 golfers still on the course. Chad Ramey and Siwoo Kim tied at 7 under par. Rory 4 under. Ricky at even. Those are really the only other 2 names in the field that you'd recognize. LPGA, they're in Singapore. 2 rounds complete. Celine Boutier with a 1-shot lead. And they're playing in Saudi Arabia right now. Charles Schwartzel's in 2nd. John Rahm's in 4th. Phil Mickelson's on the leaderboard even. That's the LIV for those of you that have forgotten. By the way, Anthony Kim, I think, was in last. Yeah, he's in last. 5 over through 13, his first competitive round in 12 years. And, Mark, I just wanted to mention college softball. Florida 2 sweeps last night, but Keegan Rothwick, her second no-hitter of the season. You're big into softball. You
Love the softball no. They happen every week.
Right. And Ohtani told everybody he was married yesterday. And everybody was literally looking at him like, we've never even seen you with anybody. Who is she? So there you have it. 7 minutes before the hour. That was
the starting 5.
Oh, we're up against it. That's why.
Yeah.
And in the on-deck circles, Pat Kirwan from the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll talk the National Football League next with Pat on Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation.
Good morning.
At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation,
can you guys hear me?
437
Yeah, we can.
0095.
You can hear me.
437
Well, I took my headset out.
0095. Our
It's something wrong
offices
with the headset.
can't be
I can
located
see you now on the computer, but I can't
Visit
use the
online
headset.
at
That's the problem.
mfh-law.com.
I'm just looking at.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold.
I've been doing so many
Bayfront
things
Inn
off
has
this
multiple
computer. Every
ways
time
for
I get
guests
all
to
messed
enjoy
up,
the
I
water
can't
and
get
have
you
some
guys
fun.
right.
Gather your family and friends and enjoy a
So if you
leisure
can hear me,
day on
I
the
can
water,
stay on and just do it
pontoon or
this
deck
way.
boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor,
okay.
Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill, the Bayfront Inn. Something for
When I
everyone.
do certain
On
things
Fifth
for
Avenue in
serious, my computer gets changed on its own.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Smartest guy in the world.
So, yes, we hear you, and we hear you fairly clearly. Do you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
And I'm not using my headset, which is what it always tells me to do when I get on with you. I just got you on the computer sound and it's working.
Okay.
Sounds fine.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's no echo or anything. So
it's the first time I did it without a headset ever. So, weird. We got a little tech guy over there. As soon as I get out of this, I got to go over there to interview quarterback. So I'll have him look and see if he can fix it.
How have you had any good food?
Oh yeah, steakhouses. I
know.
can't eat that. I ate dinner with Charlie Weiss last night. That was really fun. You know how it is, Pat. I hate Parcells. 3 hours at Charlie.
Wow, 3 hours.
Yeah. And we had, I
mean,
got him
Pat,
laughing.
you do know they don't even let him on the air for more than 2. So, wow.
Yeah, and here's how he refers to me and Jim. Oh, look at this. They'll let me eat with the A team. That's so, he's lost 100 pounds.
Good. Awesome.
He said he got up on Christmas morning last year and his grandkids were over the house and he said, I weighed myself. I was 352. And I go, I'm not going to see them for another Christmas. So he's lost 100.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you know what it's done? It's brightened his personality a little bit.
Good.
Because when you're 350 and you can't walk and he's got neuropathy in his feet and all that stuff, he's just a miserable guy that probably all of us might be. But
yep,
he was really funny last night. Oh my God, they're letting me eat with the A team. Oh, look at this. I'm moving right along.
Well, but seriously, I'll bet he's thrilled to be at the combine, to be,
He didn't, last time he was here, he did not go out for dinner because he was just in his room and had room service and couldn't move. Now he walks into and you know what? It was really good. Andy Reid, who really likes him, the Heavy Man's Club, they sat together for about an hour the other day and just talked about physical well-being. And it really inspired Charlie.
Good.
So,
Good.
but he's still Charlie. He's still Charles.
Casio, I think it's over 100 that he's lost. I think it's $120.
How great
that he's lost.
I wouldn't even recognize him then.
No.
In fact, it might be $130. I saw him 2 days ago. I think it's 132 pounds he lost. I think he's gone from 355 to 223.
Wow. I like when I walked right past Charlie the first morning. And when I passed him, I heard this voice go, "You're not going to say hello?" And I turned back and said, "Charlie, I swear to God, I was walking. I did not recognize you at all." Good for him. I like his shirt, Mark.
One of the listeners sent this to me for Christmas last year. The Rocket City Trash Pandas, minor league baseball.
You can't. When I looked at it, I said, "Let me read this again slowly," because I wasn't sure I saw what I saw.
And it's one of the most comfortable T-shirts I own, so that's a bonus.
Nice. Are we coming up on your member guest thing?
Yes, I will be off next Thursday and Friday.
Now, we've been getting along enough that I actually know the calendar.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And he joins us an hour earlier than usual because they are putting him to work at the Combine. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is 3 to 7 weekdays throughout the season. He's part of CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat,
yes, good morning.
I have to admit, there was a low point for me yesterday. I'm listening to your guys' show, and you guys were, while doing interviews, also Jim would then let me know certain people's 40 times. And I was getting excited. I was turning the volume up. I was driving faster. I was pulled over by the cops. And it was all because certain edge rushers were breaking 4 or 5 in the 40. Is that a sign that I need professional help?
Well, I've always thought you needed professional help. So. It's just another symptom.
Gotcha.
You know what? I'll tell you when you needed professional help. When you reviewed the softball no-hitter, that was clearly another place that was.
That was for Mark, though. Mark loves his. I had a high school hockey moment earlier in the show. I gave Mark a little softball moment in the starting 5. He's a big softball fan.
Yeah, it's like you with minor league hockey, Pat. We all have our quirks.
I know, and I did see your facial expressions when you were getting the information on softball. The Trash Pandas. I mean, come on. What's going on with that shirt?
Little minor league baseball shirt going on. Catch us at twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton to get in on some of these sidebar jokes. All right, Pat, what's been the scuttlebutt from the combine? What is everybody most interested in? Is it actually 40 times, or is it just the fact that all these GMs get together and start kibitzing about what they want and need?
No, they're setting the framework up for whatever business they're going to do. They're definitely talking a lot about different things. Certainly Russell Wilson has been behind closed doors conversations for sure. What are the Steelers going to do? I talked to Omar yesterday. He wouldn't reveal it, of course, but I just like probing it a little with him. So there are those conversations. The GMs are not going in to watch guys run 40s. We talked about that on Wednesday, and they still aren't. This is a 1-week opportunity to be face to face with other GMs and agents, and then talking to your head coach about, hey, it looks like we could move the guy. Do you want to move him? That kind of thing. But now they're working out. And to David's point, that kid, Braden Fisk, I had him at the Senior Bowl. He is a phenomenal football player. And he runs 4.78 at 295 pounds. So he did play across the board at the Senior Bowl, every alignment possible from the nose tackle all the way out to the right end. And he demonstrated that he can do that. So he had a high school back surgery, but get this, 71 games in college. And I've never heard of 71 games from a college player. And he missed 4 practices in his career, which was 6 years long. 4 practices, 1 game. So I wouldn't care about his high school back surgery. So he's making waves. Chop Robinson, there's the guy that got you excited when you had to pull over because he ran 4.48 or so. He has not played to that speed. That's the next thing. The speed intrigues you, but he had 9 sacks at Penn State career. So you got to really think about that. Does the speed apply? That's the old reality of what these measurements do. Does it correlate? Now, today, as soon as I leave you guys, I'm running over to the studio because we're going to start with the quarterbacks. And I've already interviewed all the guys from the Senior Bowl. So I've already done Penix and I've done Bo Nix and Joe Milton and those guys. So it's Caleb, Drake, and Jaden Daniels. And I'm starting with Jaden Daniels, who the more I watch him, the more I like him the most. So right after that, we're going to be in there the late part of the morning for all the receivers, starting with Marvin Harrison and Neighbors. Neighbors sounds to me like people are talking about him. But I've had some interviews, and I hope you heard a couple of them, of some of the life stories these guys have had to go through to get here. That Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State, the story is incredible. His mom was abused. They were living in Manitoba, Canada, and the mom was getting beat up by the father. She took her 6 boys, put them in the car, and drove to Windsor and raised them by herself. All 6 of them are college graduates now. He's the 3rd of the 6, and he's getting ready to come out of here. But she then went back and got a college degree, then got a law degree, and now is in a law firm. And she's a farm girl from Western Canada who said, I got to take my boys and get out of here. And she saved herself and the 6 boys. When you listen to him talk about being mature and knowing what work ethic is, those are the stories that I think at the combine you can make real headway with general managers and head coaches. So there's been a story or 2 like that have just been amazing to me.
Makes you want to draft her, okay, quite frankly. And then go to prospect. Her son is, I know I heard your interview with Terrion Arnold, the other Alabama cornerback. And, it's interesting, who's the better cornerback at Alabama, to be honest. And they could go 1 and 2 at that position in this draft. I think it's a pretty deep draft for corners.
I like the draft for corners. I had corners yesterday. You can't interview them all. It's impossible. But I did have some corners that, it got me excited about their potential. I talked to Wiggins for a while, the Clemson kid. The guy that kind of jumped out at me was Lassiter, the Georgia kid. Never gave up a touchdown in college. Never. Not one. And he said, a couple guys got close on me. And Mitchell from Toledo, that guy. He's right up the road in Florida here. And totally neglected coming out. And brutally honest, I said, how did you land up at Toledo from a little town north? He's right by Ocala. He said, no, I didn't project. I had bad grades. Toledo stuck with me, gave me some extra classes to take, and I made it. And I decided I could go right now to Georgia. They all offered him, and then they had to pull out because of his grades. But phenomenal interview. So I like those guys a lot. And Cooper DeJean looks like he's going to be healthy. So, yeah, I'm with you on the corners. I am more than with you on the corners. Safety population, I did spend time with the 2 Miami kids. Very interesting. Kitchens, I think, is going to be very high in the first round. Free safety, total radar guy that can handle the sideline to sideline. But the James Williams kid, they're not even talking about him, but he's 6'4", 230 playing safety. And he has rushed the passer. He's played Will Backer. He's played Sam Backer. And this league wants hybrid players. They want guys that can help you match up against all these hybrid offensive players. There's one of them right there. I'd be taking that guy in the 3rd round.
I want to go back to the quarterbacks in Penix. How many GMs are just not going to touch Penix because of all the medical issues, Pat?
Well, this is another reason they're all here, as you know. I mean, the medical evaluations are intense, and there's 5 of them. And some guys have to go off to the hospital and get even more work done. He is starting to convince people that I talk to that they're more relaxed about him medically. And part of that is how we all look at injuries now. When I look at Achilles injuries or ACLs, they used to be career enders. Then it was a 2-year rehab, which I know I've talked to you guys about. Then it's turned into a 6-month rehab. I mean, is anyone worried about Kirk Cousins' ability to play next year?
No,
they're not. So I think he's a lefty that throws the ball with great velocity. He slides around in the pocket. He's interesting to me. I don't know how he's not the 4th quarterback. And I know all this talk about McCarthy, and everyone's talking that he's going. I'll take Penix over McCarthy.
All right. You got 15 minutes with Jaden Daniels. How are you conducting that interview?
Well, I think the concern about him is his physicality, his body. And what I did is I got the picture out of Lamar coming out of Louisville. And when you take a look at that picture and then you take a look at this kid, that's where I'm taking him to. I'm taking him right to his plan of attack physically. And he's been on it because, look, that was a 150-pound kid that turned into a 185-pound kid. I think he's going to eventually be like 195, maybe 200. He'll grow into his body. That's the first part of him. And just get into, does he run because he wants to run? Does he run because he has to run? He's a phenomenal runner. I just think that guy has, if we like to talk about the old modern quarterback, well, he's fitting the profile of that. So he excites me a lot about that. And we're going to talk about reading defenses. Jimmy and I can drill down pretty hard on him on that kind of stuff. And I think he's going to be very receptive to that conversation.
Caleb Williams says he's not doing the medicals. Is that a red flag in any sort of way?
It's definitely a yellow flag, Mark, because the first thing the GMs will think is, what's he hiding?
He's hiding his height.
Well, they can hide his height all he wants. All you do is stand. I'm going to stand with him today. And when he stands up, I'm going to mark the wall right where he is. Then I'm going to measure that. You don't think I'm going to do that?
No, please. We've been out with you in public. We know exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah. Bill Caro is the greatest body checker of all time. He never talked to an undersized guy without grabbing their shoulders. Hey, how you doing? Good to meet you. And he's just grabbing to make sure it's not all bones. No, he can hide his height all he wants. We all know what he is. But you asked me the question, very unusual for someone to pass on the physicals. So I'm different than these guys because I said the second he said he wasn't taking his physical, I'd put him on a plane and send him home.
From what I read, this is the first time this has ever happened. I mean, it's, as you said, Pat, the whole point of these is the medicals.
Yeah. And he doesn't have an agent, but and I'm sure David's been following this. About 2 months ago, it came out he didn't want to play for the Bears. Now, the other day, it comes out from him that he does want to play for the Bears.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, it sounded so scripted.
Oh, my God.
It sounded like he went on Google and read up about Chicago sports in the city of Chicago, and he comes
Correct.
out with a 2-sentence thing. I really admired Michael Jordan and Walter Payton, and I like deep dish pizza. Hey, is that good enough? You think they'll buy that? I mean, oh, come on.
No, he's troubling to me about all that stuff and his brand and everything else, and now not the physical. So what are the 3 or 4 teams going to do that are considering him? Because you can never presume that he's going to go number 1. What if he falls to 2? What if he falls to 3? He's going to have to fly around the country and take physicals.
Well, and
he's getting to be a little bit of a pain to me.
Well, but also he's interesting. Like Lamar's confidant was his mom. Caleb's confidant's his dad. Lamar never had an agent. Caleb's not hiring an agent. That freaks people out. It could be fine, nothing wrong. But I do know it freaks the pros out. More with Pat Kirwan live from Indianapolis on the other side here on Miller and Moulton.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
How's your day going, Mark?
Good.
You've been
Everything's
practicing your golf to get ready for the tournament?
I've been playing quite a bit this year. I've been fortunate. I've been playing at least twice a week and played in our member last weekend. My partner gets in town today. I just got to make sure my wife doesn't kill me by the time he leaves.
Well, Mark, if you're anything like me, she probably will take a shot at you.
I'm convinced of it.
Well,
although my partner's going to realize that I'm Mr. Mom because he gets in tonight. I've got the daughter's softball practice tonight. I got a softball game tomorrow. It's nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
I said it on the air last night. The coach of my daughter's softball team. He's a college football referee in the Sun Belt. Younger guy, wants to get to the SEC, but he is younger. So he comes up to me. He's Mr. Miller, which I wanted to kill him right off the bat. Made me run the scoreboard last night. Now I'm roped into helping.
Now you're there. Yeah. I used to, when my guys were playing softball, the girls were, or Sean was playing baseball, I would not show up till the end of the first inning. So I didn't have to coach first or third.
That is that's a great power move.
And a lot of times I was sitting in the car watching the first inning, but I'm not getting out until they get two guys up doing the first and the third base. Oh.
Yeah, Canada Relief. We talked about that a couple days ago. What BS it was. So you come back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I got the morning schedule. Let me just see my schedule here. Yeah, Saturday I have offensive line interviews, and I get out of here at 11 a.m.
So you guys don't do a show tomorrow. You're just doing interviews for.
No, we're doing live show.
Till when?
I think we're doing the show 8 to 11.
Oh, okay. So what time's your flight? Like 1, 2?
1 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, but I like the linemen. I've done a bunch of linemen already because the Senior Bowl is loaded with the guys that are here. I've already done Guyton, Morgan, Jackson, Power Johnson, that kid. Someone else. I got one other guy I did. So, and I've already done Latham. So I'm pretty much down the road with those guys.
Does Paul Alexander go to the combine or does he just watch tape?
He has been at the combine. He did not come this year. I don't know why he didn't. He's got a lot of guys here.
Right.
He's working with 20 guys.
Wow.
All the first and second rounds, just about. He's got them all. But I don't know. Maybe he's got guys that aren't here. I don't know what his rationale was for it, but he's got a big plan all the time with these guys. It's great having Paul as a resource for that. I argue with him though. Paul, you sure you're just not protecting that guy? Because I saw him get bull rushed 4 times. Don't tell me he's got power. Ba-ba-da-bum. A lot of guys are complaining though. There's a little too commercial with what this turned into. The old school guys are like, the whole media part of it. And I think that's why less and less coaches are coming, because they get assigned all these things they have to do. Stand at the pulpit, talk to the media.
Well, totally. I mean, Tuesday was a media day, coaches and GMs talking. That's all Tuesday seemed like it was to me.
That's all it was. And it's the part that the media, I saw a number of radio stations pack up and leave on Wednesday. They weren't getting them many, we get the players because we get the relationship with the NFL and a contract with them. But I saw those normal guys that have little media setups in the back. Maybe there's like 100 of them. I saw them packing up right after media day. They got all the sound they wanted. Hey, the owners' meetings are in Orlando. If that somehow was something you guys thought you could do.
If we were set up at one of those things, though, who would talk to us?
We're coming back.
Let me think about that.
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He's live from the Combine in Indianapolis. He will be there till midday tomorrow. He's doing a special Saturday show from 8 to 11 a.m. tomorrow before he is done. So that's 5 full days at the Combine for Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Change. You can listen to him 3 to 7 weekdays. And on Sundays during the season, he's working for CBS's NFL Today show. He joins us once again, courtesy of Pinchers.
All right, Pat, I know the linemen today, you've talked to most of these guys, but this is an impressive group. So who is it that's been standing out for you?
In the offensive line crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jordan Morgan, Tyler Guyton, JC Latham, those 3 guys. I have not met Joe Alt yet. That's going to happen tomorrow morning. I'm very anxious to see him and put him in context with the other guys. The linemen are easy interviews. They're always significantly more mature. They can handle every question. They know it. Here's my favorite. Let's go to the weight room. Give me the power clean, the squat, and the bench. And they'll be like this. Bench, 392 pounds. Real. I said, not 395. No, 392. That's my, you ask the cornerbacks, how's the weight room? He goes, yeah, I like it. It's good.
Hey, Can we talk about Alabama players?
Yeah.
Not all of them hit in the NFL. There have been some guys drafted in the top 10 who have been flat out busts. Is there any talk in the NFL world that Bama players are overrated or that they're overworked? And so when you get them, there's already some tread worn off their tires. Is there any talk about that? Remember how, like, back in the day, there were whispers about, certain positions at Penn State, yeah, but certain other positions at Penn State, stay away from them. I'm just curious if there's talk about Alabama guys.
Yeah, there's talk about guys from old school, USC quarterbacks, while you're on the subject. Yeah, there's players, but I think if you surveyed the guys, the coaches, I think it's the physicality of their practices and maybe that they are a little worn out. Not all of them, of course. That's the first part of their reality of how they practice. They hit a lot at practice. Nix was not afraid to, and a lot of guys they went there because of that. But they do practice hard, and some of the guys are a little worn out. But I don't like generalizations because you can get other guys
right.
that are
Totally.
But they do practice hard. There are NFL teams that like guys from that place because they practice hard, and we'll see. We'll see how much carries over. But I definitely think there's a lot of labels on a lot of schools. Interesting enough, like Pittsburgh, people know the success rate of the University of Pittsburgh defensive backs is high. They make teams, and they're generally not drafted high. A lot of third, fourth, fifth rounders. But if you go through the history of Pittsburgh, you find out that the head coach is a smart defensive kind of guy, good relationship with a lot of NFL people, does a lot of NFL style things. And the success rate of the University of Pittsburgh defensive backs, especially corners, is pretty high. So there's pluses and minuses to the observation you're making. But, I don't know if I generally worry about quarterbacks that play on teams where they're always the best team on the field. It's not a true picture of what NFL life's going to be like. The quarterback at Alabama, how many times is he going to play games where the opponent's got better players than him? Once or twice a year, maybe. So, and I think that's all coming to an end. I mean, the NIL stuff is changing. I had a long talk with Charlie Weiss last night, as I was telling you before we went on. Charlie's son is the OC at Mississippi. And apparently they're flooding into Mississippi from the NIL world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he is extremely excited. He said to me, you are going to be worn out talking about Mississippi guys in next year's first round.
There's no doubt this team's loaded and they're prepared to have a hell of a year. It's interesting that you mentioned that about the playing on the best team, because if you look at the quarterbacks, you got a USC kid, that's usually the best team. You got an LSU kid, that's usually the best team. So are you higher on the North Carolina kid? Because that's, of all the quarterbacks that are up there in the first round, he's the only one that didn't play on the best team every week, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't hold up for everybody, but you really got to dig deep into how many times did you have to play 2-minute football? Because the NFL is 2-minute drill every week. You're going to play at some point in the game. You're going to be losing. You're not dominating all these teams. Look at how much Mahomes has to scramble around and perform at a super high level to get his team back to where they're supposed to be. So, yeah, I think some of the guys live in a fantasy world. Their offensive line dominates the line of scrimmage. Their running backs well over 1,000-yard back. They have 3 receivers. There's no way they can cover them all. So I do think, and the USC quarterbacks, I mean, that's one of the things I'm going to do with these guys. Go look at them when they're losing. I think that, for me, is one of the things that you have to do, because NFL football is about trying to come back from losing. It's not dominating anybody.
Is there a position, like the thought now is wide receivers and running backs are more prepared to just step right in year one and be impact guys? Is there a position that you're still concerned about, in which it's like, I don't know if I'd start this guy year one, because when you play this position, there's more of an adjustment besides the obvious, which is quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's the defensive tackles. It's a man's world in there. these 30-year-old guards that, bench 600 pounds and are 30 and know how to hold. I think these big wide body kids that are 21, they come in and they get the physicality is overwhelming. Remember when Dallas thought Mozzie Smith will be the answer to our inside problems?
Oh
How'd
yeah.
that work out?
2 years ago, that whole third round, they thought that they drafted like 4 guys in the third round, and they're like, this is going to be like the central piece of our draft, and every single guy hasn't contributed.
Yeah, it's a man's world inside, and they if you look at them, you can see a boy's body on half of them, and they're going to get beat up. So your question really led me right to the defensive tackles. I don't even think you can start them. I think you got to rotate them. You can't even think about these guys playing 45, 50 snaps. They couldn't hold up.
And then the counter of that is, how good is that free agent class for D tackles? Because as you've talked about all the 1-year deals, is that where you have to go if you need D tackle help?
I think there's only 2 ways to do it. Find a great one, which is impossible, Chris Jones type guy. There's not many of them. Or have a 4-man rotation and just say, we're going to roll him through. You're going a series, he's going the next. You just try to, fresh bodies is the next choice. The guys I work for, most of them were, God rest his soul, Greg Robinson was a 4-guy rotation. He knew none of them were going to be dominators, so he just said, let's try to beat them with fresh bodies every other series. And I think that's what it is. But I love the question because it makes you think about it. But you know what those big old NFL linemen look like? Those guys, they love messing around with these youngsters.
Pat, we got about a minute left. This may be a dumb question, but if Penix was right-handed, would he be higher thought of? I mean, there are not many left-handed quarterbacks, and there have been very few really good left-handed quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, that leads me to Tua, what did he lead the NFL in last year? Yards per completion or something. So you can function as I'll say this about him. I'm left-handed, so I always naturally like to look, and I talked to Boomer about this quite a bit. Penix is one of the odd lefties. He throws with velocity. He's not a softball.
Well, yeah, because Boomer, Stabler, even Steve Young, there was a softness to their ball. They were excellent, obviously, very accurate. Okay, but there was a softness to the ball. Penix throws a dart.
Yeah, he does. He's different than the other ones, and even Boomer acknowledges it. He's kind of fascinated by it. So, yeah, Lefty Lucy, that's what we call him.
He's Pat Kirwan. That's what we call him. NFL Radio's moving the chains. CBS's NFL Today show. 3 to 7 today, 8 to 11 a.m. tomorrow from the Combine. If you're interested, Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, thanks for making time for us this week. Safe travels. We'll talk next week.
Very good, fellas. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Pat Kirwan.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Do you think Florida can make a run in the tourney, Trent? You're our college.
No, I seriously do. They have the makeup. Totally. I'm going to pick them to go on a run unless they look terrible here.
Okay, so like we jumped on Miami last year.
Yeah.
I'd say late January. We're like Miami could go to the Final Four. And people thought we were nuts. We're like, no. They can score. They got guards. They went to the Elite Eight the year before. They can do this. When you look at Florida, do you think, oh, this is an Elite Eight team?
Elite Eight is what I'm thinking. That's the. I mean, I don't think they can get to a Final Four, but they're certainly good enough to make the Elite Eight. I think.
I think Pat saw me going to you like this, that I was done.
I know. I think when we gave each other the 1 minute cue, he stopped. Right.
Always fun with Pat. Going to breaks.
All right. You can't say Purdue because that's too obvious. I'm going to rattle off the top 10 teams in the country. You tell me who's most vulnerable to lose early. Houston, UConn, Tennessee, Marquette. I skipped Purdue. Arizona, Kansas, Iowa State.
I know nothing about Iowa State. What are they ranked?
9th, 8th.
Holy crap.
Well, here's the thing. They're doing it in the best conference. So
right.
In fact, they're 6th in the coaches, 8th in the AP. And then Carolina and Duke.
I haven't seen Iowa State play all year. I can honestly say that. Sorry.
David, is Marquette are they 11th?
Marquette's no. I said Marquette. They're 5th. They're 5th in both polls.
Okay, them. That's my answer.
Okay.
Big East. Because UConn just won it. They're a little different. It's a little bit of a different case there. Marquette can get ran off the floor by some athletes.
I will say this is Shaka's great when he's an 11 seed. Shaka's not great when he's a top seed. Remember, he had the Texas team that got beat by
the Mean Green.
Who's the Grant Boone? No. We did Grant Boone, friend of the show, does play-by-play for them. Remember, they had just beaten him in the tournament. We played the clip when we brought Grant on a few days later. It was like 53-52 in the tournament.
Yeah, it came down to the wire.
It wasn't
Abilene
North Texas.
Christian.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Why did I think it was North Texas? Who did they beat? Didn't they beat someone not that long ago?
I don't know. But you're right. It was Abilene Christian. Grant Boone's a national voice, and yet he's been the play-by-play voice of Abilene Christian for over 20 years. That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
He does Amen Corner on Masters.com. He's done it for a long time. He's like the number 2 LPGA play-by-play guy for NBC and Golf Channel.
Feeney, I don't know if we're ever going to see another good year for Dunk City.
Not under Chambers.
Hey, I'm telling you, the ASUN is not good. If they play the way they've played the last 3 halves,
here we go.
They play the rest of the year that way.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour, Kyle Sielaff, the radio voice of the Miami Marlins, to join us at that time. It felt like a football Friday there for the last half hour with Pat Kirwan live from the Combine in Indianapolis. Free agency begins in earnest in less than 2 weeks. I think Tuesday, Mark, is the day that teams have to, if they're going to officially place a tag on a guy, they have to do it by, I believe, Tuesday. I think a week from Monday is when you can start legally tampering, if you know what I mean. Free
It's
agency.
just illegal tampering's going on now.
Totally. I mean, media people are going from restaurant to restaurant not to eat. They're ordering drinks or standing in the bar area, and they're looking to see what agents and general managers are huddled and talking to one another. And then they're making notes, and they're going to the next restaurant in Indianapolis. I'm not being flippant either. There are NFL reporters that are spending a couple hours every night, and they're just because the restaurants are all within 2 blocks. I mean, Indianapolis is a place you can hold big events there and walk to everything. Hotel, event, restaurants, it's all right there. And that's what NFL people are doing. They're spending 2-3 hours just saying, who's talking to who? Yeah, okay, good to know.
21,000 is the text line, 21000. If you want to text the show, you can always join us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch at twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton.
I'm getting excited for baseball. I'm not going to lie. I am. Not as excited as I am for March Madness, though. Next week's one bid league week, baby. I'm all in.
Well, David, I told you yesterday during a break, I am thinking about, for the first time ever, getting the baseball package this year.
And it's only partly because you think your team may play a meaningful September game. You think there's a chance.
It's possible that they're around 500, and in that division, you're going to be in it for a while. But the Braves are worth watching every night.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees are going to be worth watching every night.
They need to sign Blake Snell.
Yes, they do.
I mean, don't you, if you're the Yankees, call Boris and say, listen, I'll give Blake Snell the same contract that the Cubs just gave but Bellinger. 3 for $80, 30, 30, and 20. You can opt out after any year you want. And just put him behind Cole as your number 2 starter. Boom. Because he's got number 1 stuff. He's shown he can pitch in the postseason. I mean, he's had 2 terrific years. He's won the Cy Young both years. Every other year he's been average, slightly above average. Good stuff. Too many walks. Doesn't pitch deep enough into games. You know, Kilo's dad in our Twitch chat room, you just highlighted it. How about the Orioles every
Absolutely.
night? Oh, my goodness. And seemingly nobody on the team's 26 years old either. I am a little worried about their pitching. Can they follow up what they did last year, innings-wise? Losing that closer. I know you replaced him with Kimbrel, but Kimbrel now ain't what that closer was last year. So I'm worried about. Plus, they're not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. All right. I think there's got to be a little regression with the Orioles. A little.
It's possible, but we've thought that about Rays teams before, and maybe this is just Rays 2.0. And they're doing it young. They went out and signed the one pitcher, so they've got a little help with an arm.
Yes, absolutely.
And a little bit of money.
By the way, how about if you're the Orioles offering that deal to Snell? Why not? You got a new owner coming in. You got a little bit of money. You're going to have a huge attendance bump this year. Why not? Put Blake Snell on that staff. See, now you're trying to win a World Series. You're not just trying to win the East and get them. I mean, now you go out and sign Montgomery or Snell here. You're trying to win the World Series. And man, if the guy wants to opt out, look, you help me win the World Series. You want to leave? Hell,
I'll open the door for you as you walk out. I'll help pack your bags if you want, and I'll say good things about you as we're putting you on the airplane. Absolutely.
I'll give you $1 million parting gift. Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
I'll put you in charge with that person we work with the newspapers. You can take out your full page ad thanking the fans for the 1 year, whatever you want to do.
But that's what I would do. I would call Boris if I'm one of these teams, and I'd say, hey, the Bellinger deal for Snell. I know what you want. I mean, Mark, reportedly, the Yankees reportedly early in the free agency, like winter meetings in December, the Yankees offered Boris and Snell 6 for $162. That's $27 a year for 6, reportedly. And they both said, no, we're good. We'll wait to get more offers. You mean to tell if that's true, you mean to tell me if you called right now and said, how about the Bellinger deal for Snell, that they wouldn't bite? $30 million for this year. You can opt out. And if you don't want to opt out, you make $30 million the next year.
And you can opt out again.
I mean, it is March. I mean, at some point you need to go to spring training, right? I guess the record, by the way, Kyle Lose back in the day, I think it was with the Twins, or maybe he left the Twins and went elsewhere, but he signed on March 25th, and he started game 4 of the season for whoever he signed with. So, it's not like these guys are sitting home not working out. I know you want to get them in there and what have you, but I mean, so that's supposedly, that 10-day period there. Kyle Lose signed, and he started like game 4 of the season for whoever he signed with.
And I know when I talked about all the teams to watch, I didn't mention the Dodgers. The reason I didn't mention the Dodgers is that I'll be in bed before any of their games start. Okay? Let's just get, the getaway day. I'll be all fired up on getaway days. When they're playing 4 o'clock games out west, I'm all in. They'll be my favorite team.
I know it's a spring training homer, but did you see Ohtani's first home run? He gets a fastball belt high about 3-4 inches off the inside corner. Remember, he's left-handed. So a guy's trying to bust him inside. And he hits it out to left center. He takes his hands, he brings them in, he gets inside the pitch and gets the barrel of the bat through enough where he takes the guy's best fastball, belt high, off the inside corner and hits it out to left center. Okay. What happened against Ohtani? I threw my best pitch. I don't know what to tell. I'll throw it again, too.
Between that lineup and the Yankees lineup.
It's a fun lineup. You're right. Like the Orioles lineup, the Braves lineup, some other Texas could, again, be a better lineup. But those two lineups with what they have in the middle, hey, who's coming up next inning? Yeah, I ain't going anywhere.
Right. So I think this segment has officially talked me into it. Now that I'm a cord cutter and it's cheap to do on MLB.TV or whatever the hell it is, I'm getting the baseball package, David.
Look at you.
Look at me being an old guy.
You got a short haircut, tight on the sides and everything.
Yep, I got socks and sandals on. I'm going to have dinner at 4:30 tonight. Let's go baseball.
Now, I will say, what you told is the truth, but it's a little misleading. You're having to jam dinner in at 4:30 because your daughter's got 2 games in 2 different sports immediately following.
A double dip tonight. Don't kid yourself. Gymnastics followed by softball.
Exactly.
Just a typical Friday night in the Miller household.
In fact, sometimes you have to eat at 4 or 4:15, but there is a reason for it.
The Mr. Mom lifestyle that I lead. 220, 221, whatever it takes.
So you're going to be okay when baseball adds Nashville and Portland, or Nashville and Salt Lake, and they go to 8 4-team divisions, and then they expand and they go to 16-team playoffs, just like the NBA and the NHL. You're going to be okay with that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine with it. I don't like the buys in the first round aren't working.
Well, that's why I don't even think they can offer one bye. Like, I don't think baseball, when they expand, can go to a 14-team playoff and give the best team in each league a bye. Because I'm with you. I think the best team will be like, yeah, this is more of a detriment than it is an advantage.
Give me a best of 3 where all the games are in my building. I get to make more money.
Yeah, that might be an interesting proposal, to maybe even the top 2 seeds in each league. Tell you what, congratulations. Instead of getting buys like you would have gotten in the past, you know what we'll give you? You're at home. 7 and 8 seeds can't complain because they're in the playoffs. They wouldn't have been otherwise. I like that idea. We'll give you guys all home games. Top 2 records in each league. You're at home. Don't complain, 7 and 8 seeds. We let you into the party.
Right.
In years past, you weren't good looking enough to get by the bouncer. Now you are.
I think it's a simple solution. Give the top teams, instead of their buys, give them all home games, and we go from there.
Would you realign, by the way?
I don't care if they realign or not. It doesn't matter to me the way it matters to a lot of others.
Right.
I don't know if I'd be switching a whole lot of leagues, though. Like, I don't want the Yankees and Mets both in the American League in the same division. I don't like the idea of that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. I'm just talking about just moving you around while pretty much you're in your league. Like, I don't even know who, like, we've talked about it when the NBA adds their 2, it all likelihood going to be 2 teams out west. So in theory, 1 or 2 teams are going to have to go east. You know, is this when we finally put New Orleans or Memphis or, you know, Minnesota? Who is it we're finally, you know, or we're just, nope, you go over here now. And I don't know if there'll be anybody that they move in baseball. Is Milwaukee the last team that we moved from one league to another?
Houston.
Okay, yeah.
Houston.
So I don't know if we'll move anybody. I mean, if you have Nashville, I mean, you could if you wanted to, you know, if you want to have a quote unquote Southern division, you know, the 4 obvious ones are Miami, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and, you know, Nashville. But let's just say, I don't know. My guess is Nashville will actually be an American League team, and whoever goes out west will be a National League team. But
Nashville will be a great baseball city, by the way. Their AAA team, the Sounds, they love them there. And Nashville just knows how to party, period. So baseball and partying.
I'll tell you, it's amazing to me as someone who lived in Nashville pre any team coming there.
How much it's changed.
How big that city has become.
Yeah.
And just how they've, you know, because I remember when I worked for the minor league hockey team there, it was a playoff game, and our head coach, Mark Kumpel, and I are walking around, and Kumps used to like to have a cigar. So Mark and I are smoking a cigar, walking around Nashville long before the arena's built. And he looked at me and goes, "Is that Lou Lamoriello?" And sure enough, it was. And at that time, Lamoriello was running the Devils, and the Devils were being rumored to move to Nashville. And we laughed. because we couldn't draw squat for hockey in the old municipal auditorium, despite any efforts of marketing. And I never thought Nashville could be a hockey town, let alone a really good hockey town. And football was a no-brainer when that was coming. I knew that would be successful. But to think of that town as a three-sport town is staggering from when I lived there over 20 years ago.
Trent, our running joke on the show was if you wanted your city to become a major league city, you had to have Mark Miller work in it. No, because Raleigh-Durham,
Atlanta was first. Nashville.
Well, Atlanta, right. And Atlanta hadn't hosted the Olympics yet, but they had gotten the Olympics. They were about to host the Olympics, and Atlanta's about to absolutely explode, become the capital of the South, the whole deal. Then he does the Raleigh-Durham-Nashville thing. Okay.
All of them have NHL teams now.
Right.
I'm in Southwest Florida.
Well, you know what your legacy is going to be. It's on you. Get the damn bowl game. That's your legacy. You got 15 years.
Miller and Moulton.
Florida, you got 25. Kyle Sielaff, voice of the Marlins, is next.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now, Kilo's dad over there, you have to admit you are looking at this and through your orange-colored glasses, because I've watched you for 2 days that you think, based on your comments in the Twitch chat room, the Orioles, if I put the over-under at 106, you'd go over. Okay, 101.
So you're going over because very rarely do you get over unders in the hundreds.
Oh no,
Right.
I mean, but his comments the last now he's saying under, but I mean the last 2 days it's like they're the greatest team ever and they've done this and they've done that, and that's fantastic. We're just saying that there could be a regression this year.
Remember, the Yankees won 82 games. They'll be better. I think the Jays will win more games this year. They have to. I think they'll be all in. I think they'll be making deals all year. Rays will be worse. Red Sox will be about the same. Yeah, I don't think you'll have the same success either, probably because of the loss of the closer. Good thing is, Kilos, I mean, you have so much depth in your system. Somebody gets hurt, you can dip down and fill a lot of holes. They don't know if Verlander's going to be ready for opening day or not.
Right. I just saw the Ace Sun hired a company trying to get their new media rights partner. Ace Sun hires, where is it? With partners with Collegiate Sports Management Group on media strategy.
Huh. Send me that, if you would.
Dun, dun, dun.
They moved their offices to Jacksonville, or just south of Jacksonville.
Part of this email I get every day that gives me about 5 or 6 stories. Sometimes there's stuff it comes in the morning. Usually there's something in here that's worthwhile. Today, not so much. Except for Earnhardt's leaving NBC for Amazon. Did you hear that?
Really?
Report Earnhardt Jr. leaving NBC for Amazon.
Huh.
He's going to take this season off and resume his broadcast career in 2025, according to Andrew Marchand.
Take this season off?
That's
what the heck?
David's just beside himself.
No, come on. First, if I'm NBC, that would really bother me. You're our number one guy on the broadcast. And secondly, take it off. First off, the season doesn't even start till the end of June, July. You do your podcast every damn week.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the hour, our final hour along the network. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Our poll question, it's National Pig Day. It's also National Peanut Butter Day and a lot of other things. But in honor of the pig, bacon, ribs, pulled pork, or pork chops, what's your favorite?
Bacon running away with it. And I think that's just lazy. I mean, do you really go out? Hey, you know what? Let's go out for bacon tonight. Does anybody ever say that?
Maybe in the morning they do. We're going to talk Marlins and get in depth with Kyle Sielaff, their radio voice. But Kyle, first off, welcome. Hope you've had a great off season. Hope spring training's going well for you. How you been?
I've been very good, guys. Thank you for having me on. It's very nice to be back on with you guys again.
Okay, bacon, pulled pork, ribs, pork chops. You can only have one. Where are you going?
Oh, man. I think I love breakfast more than anything, and I actually just finished about 6 too many pieces of bacon over here in Tampa at the hotel before we go play the Phillies today.
It is true. The breakfast buffet can really have you overload on bacon. There's no doubt about that. The Marlins, they're loaded at pitching. Do they have enough bats?
How much time do you have? I think that's a really good question.
Well, we got 11 minutes. Go.
All right. Look, I really do think that they do. There was some misconception this offseason that a lack of big spending and acquiring free agents meant the team was not going to be good. And I simply don't buy it, guys. And I'll tell you why. They lost Jorge Soler with 36 homers, and that's a lot to bear. And they've got to make up for that. But they also have a full season of Josh Bell and Jake Berger. The age-old question is, can Jazz Chisholm Jr. stay healthy? But if he can, that's a massive boost, and there's going to be some power there as well. I think you have to start with the power because I think that's probably the biggest question mark, but I feel very comfortable in that regard. They've acquired Tim Anderson, who not long ago won a batting title with the Chicago White Sox. Luis Arraez, first player in big league history last year, won the batting title in back-to-back leagues in back-to-back seasons. With Bell and Berger at the corners, they've upgraded a little bit on the catching front. Folks that I've talked to rave about Jesus Sanchez and Brian De La Cruz and another leap that they've made in their young careers. Couple them with Jazz. They kind of flank Jazz in the outfield. I think they have a really strong bench. Yes, this team has offense. This team has pitching. And the expectation in that clubhouse, even though it might not be the expectation on the outside to the media, is that these guys will go back to the postseason this year.
Well, I hope the clubhouse is right. If I were to say, as Tim Anderson goes, so go the Marlins, would that be unfair? Because I don't think it is. Because I think if he's 2021 Tim Anderson, you guys are going to be a wild card team with that pitching. But if he's 2023 Tim Anderson, you ain't making the playoffs.
I hear you. I hear that. That might be a touch aggressive for me because I don't think they're going to be solely reliant on him. Now, to your point, if he puts together something comparable to what he did a couple of years ago, it's going to put them in an amazing place. But it's probably a little unfair to place it on him in terms of, let's see, if he goes, they go type of deal. But I totally understand what you're saying because, again, they do need to find a little bit more offense. I've said this a couple of times, and I don't say this. I don't think this is an exaggeration. Marlins in recent seasons, going back to, I would say, Danny Echeverria in the early 2010s, they've had some guys with great gloves. I thought Miguel Rojas should have won a gold glove a couple of years ago. But if Tim Anderson hits a little bit, guys, he will be the most electric shortstop the Marlins have had since Hanley Ramirez. Now, make of that what you will, but I think that's flat out true. The ability to hit and the ability to field, Marlins really haven't had that kind of dynamic, coupling, you could say, at that position in a very, very long time. So I think it's probably a little stretch to say as they go, or if he goes, they go, but I absolutely 100% understand what you're saying, and he's going to provide them with a massive boost depending on how he plays.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you're right to say as he goes, they go, but I'll say this. The type of season he has, that's the type of season the Marlins will have. I just think that he will be representative of, if he has a good year, I think the Marlins have a good year, et cetera. I don't think he's the stir. I just think that we'll be able to compare the two and that they'll be similar. Kyle Sielaff, the radio voice of the Marlins. Follow him on Twix, which is Twitter/X at Kyle_Sielaff, Sielaff.
Kyle, where are your biggest concerns on the team then?
That's a good question. I think everybody's general concern is always the health of the starting pitching. I think the Marlins are super fortunate in that they have a lot of depth in that area this season, even without Sandy Alcantara. But I think it's not even so much a concern, but you hope that guys like Braxton Garrett, Jesus Luzardo, and Yuri Perez can stay healthy. Jesus Luzardo has put himself, to me, into that category where he's going to get paid $200 million. I think he's that good. He is an ace. He is an ace. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. I just hope he stays healthy. I hope all these guys stay healthy. I think that's always the biggest concern. I really don't have a whole lot of concerns offensively. I'm not trying to tell people this is the 27 Yankees by any means, but I think they're going to be fine offensively. I think they're going to prove people wrong that they have more power than folks might say that they have. I think the general concern is always just the health of the pitching, because you see it every year. Some team will get decimated by it, and high expectations go out the window quickly. It's not easy to come back from pitching injuries, no matter how much depth you have. I do think the Marlins have good depth, but my biggest concern would just be the health of the starting pitching staff.
What if I were to say to you, Kyle, they went 35-17 in 1-run and extra inning games last year, which was damn near the complete opposite of what they went in 2022. So my fear is, that's what, 52 games. Let's just kind of split the difference. That's 6, 7, 8 wins in 1-run extra inning games that they won't have this year. So to me, when I look at the team, I'm like, so they lost Sielaff, and they got to probably be better because there's no way they match that 1-run record from last year. So I'm looking at the Marlins right now and going, if you guys won 84 games last year, I'm saying 77 this year unless you improve. Is that harsh?
No, because I would like to think it's harsh, but I also understand totally what you're saying. It's hard for me to push back on the notion of all the 1-run victories and all the I think they had 44, 41 come from behind wins as well. I don't have it in front of me, but I think that there will probably, to your point, be a little bit of a regression to the mean, you could say there. You know what? Like, every season is different. Every team is different. This team, they prove that they have more power than last year's team, right? And they might win games more handedly, and the 1-run win department, might not play as much of a factor. So yes, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think they will have as many 1-run victories, and I think they'll fall back a little bit there. But that does not mean by any stretch that they can't progress instead of regress in other areas to kind of balance that stuff out. I think this is a very comparable team to last year. In fact, I think they have more depth. I think they have a chance to be good. I really, really do.
Offensively, when I look at Chisholm, to me, that's another catalyst. If he stays healthy, you talked about health of the starting pitching. They need health everywhere. But Chisholm is this I don't want to say make or break year, but this is a big year for him, isn't it?
100%. There's no doubt. And again, make or break a little too strong, potentially, like you suggest. But it's can I say it's teetering on that? It's there with him, right? Like, this is important. It's time for him to go. He played in 97 games last season, has proven that, unfortunately, he has not been able to stay healthy. That's got to change. There is no doubt about it. That absolutely 100% positively has to change, because he is a massive, integral part and kind of, a piece of this thing. There's power there. There's 30 homers there. There's 25, 30 homers. There's 30 or 40 stolen bases. There's really good defense there. That's a guy that can score runs. And again, we go back to all these 1-run wins last year. Maybe they're not in that position if Jazz can stay more healthy this year. He can create runs candidly. I love the kid. He's great.
I think he's the National League version of Byron Buxton. When he plays, he and they are good, but he misses a lot of time. All right, final question, Kyle. So we got to know Kim Ang. We liked her. We thought she did a good job. She's not back. Peter Bendix is the new head honcho. What do we know about him?
He comes from the Tampa Bay Rays, where they are in a very similar spot financially to the Miami Marlins, and you're going to see that style of baseball operations runnings happen in Miami. I think they will have to make tough decisions, but they will ultimately be the right decisions. You saw for years the Rays would trade guys at the peak of their value. With multiple years of team control left, they would swing massive deals, and they did that to not only improve their farm system, but immediately improve their big league ball club as well. That's what you're going to see. He is a people person. He thinks it's important. You got to have good people around you before you can have a good baseball team. He's a great man. He's been a lot of fun to talk to. He's very, very humble, very sweet, very, very kind. And damn, he knows the game. He knows it really, really well. He knows what he's doing. And I will say this, he has a lot of conviction. He's not stuck in his ways, but when he knows what he wants to do, he's going to do it. And you have to do it in baseball in a bit of a brutal manner and in an emotionless manner. And he's going to do that, and it's ultimately going to benefit the Miami Marlins.
Kyle, it's great to talk to you again. All right. Have a great rest of spring training. Hopefully we can talk right around opening day, and all the best. Continued success.
All right, guys. Whenever. Love chatting with you. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Kyle Sielaff, radio voice of the Miami Marlins. Follow him on Twix, Kyle_Sielaff, Sielaff. Kyle Sielaff.
That's what it is. It's spring. There's a lot of hope.
Damn right. We're going to be better than last year.
About
You two talking like we do not have enough offense. We have a better offense.
He sold me.
No.
He sold me. I'm not going to lie.
I love your comparison with Chisholm there.
Buxton.
That's so right, David. Because if they get 135, 140 games out of Chisholm, that's
a big difference.
That's huge.
Huge is right. Yep. Just like the Twins, they've had 100 games from Buxton once in 7 years.
Miller and Moulton. Talking a little baseball. I'm getting the baseball package. David was pulling over, listening to MLB Network Radio yesterday. We're all in.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Do you guys want to do play of the day or no?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, just making sure. I don't turn microphones on without double checking.
That was my bad. I had David on, but not you.
It's Robert Conrad's birthday today. I mean, he's dead, but he's still daring you to knock that battery off his shoulder.
I dare you.
My father hated that commercial.
Oh
my father wanted to. All he wanted is one shot at that battery and say he missed the battery and hit him right in the mouth.
Godly.
Don't ask me why, but I will. It's one of those things I will never forget.
Did you see the Carson spinoff?
Yes.
So right after the commercial, he comes on, he does it, he puts the battery, they keep that like 4 pies in a row hit him in the face. Right.
Yep. I can't believe that bacon is getting over 50% of the vote.
I can. It's lazy. It's like you said earlier. Just a lazy take. I voted ribs.
I was
I
between
did as
ribs
well.
and pulled pork. I went pulled pork, and it's really close.
I went ribs.
I love ribs, but I don't eat them very often at all.
All right, so
I
now
probably have them, like,
I'll
once or-
get you over for a Sunday dinner, and I'll make ribs for you.
That would be quite a treat. I probably have ribs like twice a year, but I love them.
Adam put his Braves flag out yesterday. There you go. That's moving on. Football season in the rearview mirror. There you go. We're going forward now.
The Jags can't hurt you anymore, Adam.
That's right. Not for 6 months.
And then they might get right back at it, but you never know.
Did you see the Lions are trying to go long-term with St. Brown?
Good.
They're talking, trying to reach a long-term deal.
Yeah, him and Sewell, I think, will both.
Boy, you should have heard, who's their GM again?
Brad Holmes.
Holmes was on with Jim and Pat. You should. They just said Penei Sewell, and Pat pauses and goes, "Well, you have to sign him, right?" And Holmes is like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's the best tackle in football, I think.
well,
Trent Williams flamed out.
Holmes is just raving about him." Okay, and finally, I don't know if it was Jim or Pat, but one of them said, "You do know you're costing yourself more money right now." He starts laughing. He goes, "Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. He's really good." Yeah.
The fans absolutely love him. Him and Frank Ragnow, both.
Johnny Mack, they could hurt him. They could wound him, I think, with a bad draft. But do you really know it's a bad draft before the season starts? So you know how everybody is with their team. They think they got their picks right.
Sometimes.
Besides, if he thinks they got him wrong, he can sit down that night and watch the Braves win. So, you know.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us on this Friday, first day of March. Baseball starts in 3 weeks, at least the Dodgers and Padres in Korea. The madness. Selection Sundays. It's the 17th. So, you know, we're like 40 days away from the Masters, something like that, 41 days away. I mean, you know, come on.
David, you've mentioned it a couple times on today's show, but the one bid league week is awesome. And that's coming up. That's almost just as good as that first weekend of the tournament.
Selection Sundays on St. Patrick's Day?
It is. It is.
Wow.
The good news is
corned beef in college basketball?
Yep. The good
This
news
is spectacular.
You could be so hammered that you may not mind that your team had their bubble burst.
Well, we've had a lot of St. Patty's Days where it's the first day of the tournament.
Yes.
And that's overload.
Remember a couple of years ago when, David, they were playing Rutgers. Notre Dame and Rutgers were in the first four, and it turned midnight, and it turned to St.
Notre Dame.
Patrick's Day,
Right.
and Notre Dame won in overtime because the band got to play the fight song at midnight and the leprechaun did the jig. I texted my brother. I'm like, Rutgers has no shot now. It's
right. Had to win by 11:59. Now they're in trouble.
right. Exactly.
If you believe in that sort of thing. But Mark and I have talked for years that, see, this is great for the sports bars. They can have a big say. You hated it when St. Patrick's Day was on the first day of the tournament or whatever. You're like, they're going to do gangbusters the first day of the tournament. You want the local establishments to be able to get both.
Exactly. 100%.
And this is good for us. We can get snockered over the weekend, and we've got 3 full days. We'll just stay home for the play and stuff. Dayton, we can watch that on True TV from home. But then, we got 3 full days till noon on Thursday.
I'm so fired up to watch the first 2 days of the tournament with Trent. I truly am, because he has a smile on his face all the time. He's a happy kid. But when we bring up college basketball, and you notice it too, David, talk about anything, Trent's in a good mood. You bring up college basketball, a gleam, men. And so I told Trent he's coming over for Thursday and Friday, noontime. Might even get Felipe over, because I know Felipe has Thursdays and Fridays off, and I'm going to get the 2 kids, and I'm going to watch hoop as long as I can with them.
So you're not going to go out?
No.
Not only am I going to take Mark up on this, I might even bring over my TV so that we can have 3 screens instead of 2.
We already have 3.
Well, then we'll have 4.
That could happen.
You got a game every 15 minutes.
I was going to say you need 4. Yeah, that's the reason why I thought you might go out, because you do need we got 4 games going on at the same time.
Well, Mark's least favorite thing about streaming, the inability to flip back and forth quickly, that hurts you during March Madness.
Well, I'm guessing YouTube TV, although, will have all 4. I mean, I'm guessing you're going to be able to do the multi-view and watch all of them.
Yeah,
on there.
We'll figure it out. I can't wait.
See, I thought you guys might, because our original producer, John, first day of the tournament, John and I, that was our thing. So now, in which we would go out, and there was a local establishment that had a plate of 50 wings. And so, so we were an afternoon show then, but we would do a 10 to noon show right into Westwood One's coverage of the tournament. We would race over to the establishment and order 50 wings and a pitcher of beer before the first tip of the first game.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And so I'm like, oh my goodness, Mark and Trent are going to do this. This is great.
Well, and it would be similar to now if you were going to do the same thing with our old producer, because Trent eats like a bird. If we got 50 wings, I'd have 48. He'd have 2.
Exactly.
Probably.
Same thing with our old producer. Now he's lost so much weight. If you went out with him, it'd be 48 and 2 with the wings.
Yes. He may go as high as 4. I mean, it'd probably be 46 to 4. And Trent, trust me, when Miller and Moulton decide we're going to eat wings, we will eat 46 wings. Okay.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
What sauce? What are you guys, buffalo or
David's
sweet?
mild.
Okay.
David's mild. They don't. Nothing too hot.
But for that many wings,
burn.
But for that many wings, I'll be like, I want mild, I want medium, I want barbecue. Okay, now I'm going to mix it up here. Charge me whatever you got to charge me.
I will say the closer the games are, the better for my over-under on the wing total, because I will nervous eat the wings when the games get close.
Speaking of eating, it's National Pig Day. Which part of the pig do you like best? Right now, bacon getting 53% of the vote. Ribs is second, pulled pork third, and pork chops a distant fourth. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or FL Sports Network on X to vote, or FloridaSportsNetwork.com. We moved it an hour because Pat joined us, Pat Kirwan, that is, joined us in the 7 o'clock hour this morning in case you missed it and want to download that. But it is time now for our Molly Maid play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
We go to the NFL Combine. I'm kidding, of course. We're not.
Dallas Turner ran a 4.46 off the edge, baby.
David was about to fire me on the spot right there.
No. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's got goober in him. Wow.
No.
Look, Mark, I thought, look at the damage we've done in 4 months.
but rather it's becoming a bit of a staple. The Florida Panthers are the war machine just keeps turning for those guys. We go to Sunrise. Panthers hosting Montreal Canadiens. And despite a pair of goals from Sam Reinhart, we got overtime and then a shootout. And it was Anton Lundell who delivered the extra point.
Anton Lundell looking to give the Panthers the extra point. Lundell in on Montembeault. What a move, and let's go home, baby!
Beautiful goal. Took it left, completely froze the goalie, had the net wide open. The over-under was 6.5, so Vegas was on the money there. Panthers win it 4-3. And Mark, they'll take on our Wings tomorrow in Hockey Town. Won't miss that one.
ABC game tomorrow, actually. That's the nationally televised game between the Panthers and the Wings. That's the play of the day brought to you by Molly Maid, 774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. And give your spouse the gift of a clean house.
Don't you have to be happy for Goldie? All those years doing the Panthers, 85 people watching his broadcasts. Okay, all the work he had to do, all the excitement he had to keep up when they were having 74 points and missing the playoffs and all that. And then they start making the playoffs and they lose in the first round. And it's like, when are they ever going to win a series? And now he's doing play-by-play for maybe the best team in hockey.
And unlike the Bostons and the Torontos, because there may be some internal pressure, but there's no exterior pressure from the market, if you will. There are no Panther fans going, oh, they don't win the cup, I'm done with this team.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, they don't get to the finals, Paul Maurice has got to go. Right.
I mean, there's none of that. So there's no external pressure at all on this team.
In fact, I think, could we still, or has he been around long enough now? At what point do you think we could stop winning bar trivia if we asked people within 20 minutes of the arena who Paul Maurice was?
Oh, no, I think we'd still win a lot of bets.
Okay. Do you think if we were walking around Sunrise before they were walking into the game and we said, hey, who's Paul Maurice?
I think if we were walking with Paul Maurice and asked people, who is this, they wouldn't know.
It'd be great, man, on the street if you could get Paul Maurice. Okay. Was it Letterman? Who was it the one year who had Matt Harvey do a man on the street in New York about Matt Harvey starting the All-Star game? It was hysterical.
When the Warriors first got good back in like 2015, they did man on the street interviews there with all the California people. And they're like, who's your favorite Warrior? And they're all just like, Curry. They don't like, the fan base hadn't really caught on yet.
It's a good thing they didn't say Weber or Hardaway. I mean, please.
Could have been worse, I guess.
Rick Barry. I mean,
Nate Thurmond.
Wow, that's a nice pull right there.
It really is. Goodness, he's 24 years old.
Shout out Nate Thurmond.
Nice. Well, our final segment of the week along the network is coming up. We have no idea what we're going to talk about, so stay with us.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, I wonder what John's monthly sports question is. Every time I hear that, I'm like, huh.
Don't run into any big bugs, Feeney. Kill all the little ones today.
Unless it's like, isn't it like, it's scorpions, I think, right? Where the smaller they are, the worse. If Indiana Jones taught me anything, I think that's from Indiana Jones.
Okay.
The bad one, the fourth one. I didn't even see
the new one?
I didn't see the new one. No, that's number 5.
Did I see the fourth one? What's the fourth one? I probably did.
Crystal Skull or Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Okay, yeah. I love those movies.
Me too. That one came out when I was like 8. So we went to the theater and it was a big deal and it was, I don't know, not terrible. Going to Lakeland today.
They playing today?
Yeah. 105.
Okay, so you got a boogie.
Yeah. I mean,
You meeting your brother there?
Yep. Brother, grandparents, and brothers.
Are the grandparents, they already up there?
Yeah. They are so funny. Like, they found out Miles and his girlfriend are coming down, so they went up and they just got a place 20 minutes away for the whole week. Because they just, come on over. It's awesome.
Because, well, maybe your family's a little different, but when brother and girlfriend go down on a vacation, what they want to do is spend a lot of time with the grandparents. Especially when they don't see one another all that often, since one's in college and the other one's not.
Right.
They don't want to come out of their room for a week.
Well, yeah, that'll be fun. I'm excited. I almost went yesterday, didn't end up going. I was like keeping an eye on the ticket prices because.
Well, Red Sox tickets are expensive.
Yeah, and I didn't want to pay more than like $30, so I didn't end up finding anything. Feeney, the rats, I couldn't do. I would have no problem with the roaches, the termites, like that. That doesn't freak me out. Rats freak me out. Can't do it. Eek.
It is a fake lizard. It's a fake lizard, Canada Relief. When we were in D.C. and Jake and I went out at night, did all the monuments at night, the number of rats that are scurrying around the streets of D.C. was a little.
Yeah. I just can't do it.
Don't do this to me. Thank you.
Kilo's dad, good one.
That's pretty funny.
Political jokes always land. I don't care what side you're on.
Well, it's if done right, you're right.
Yeah. David, you must be really locked in over there because you haven't said
I
anything.
am reading a story. I am hearing everything you guys are talking about, but I'm reading a story that we've been fascinated with, which is these college athletes and are they going to unionize? And
Oh.
Dartmouth College actually sent a memo to the players before they vote on Tuesday.
Okay. The reason I sent you that article, by the way, was maybe to get that guy on, just because it's
the ASUN guy?
No. The one I sent you and Trent about unionizing last week.
Gotcha.
It was a pretty in-depth piece. I doubt you read it, but I thought maybe it's someone, if we wanted to go that route, we're running into the dead period, that might be worthwhile.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, our final segment of the week, and we're now into March. Oh, it's awesome. Baseball season gets underway. The madness begins in what? I mean, we don't count Dayton. It's fun. It's cute. You can bet on it and what have you. But, Selection Sunday's 2 weeks from Sunday, and the madness begins 3 weeks from yesterday. There we go. Now we're talking. Next week is one bid league week, basically. Little guys. You lose, you're done. Season's over. In all likelihood.
So much pressure on so many good teams.
And even those that, they can make it if they get to their conference final. But, we've seen it many times before, Mark, where the 1 seed gets beat in the quarters. And the selection committee goes, yeah, we can't put you in as an at-large when you lost to like the 8 seed who was 11-19.
But the whole 12 line right now, looking at Shelby's bracketology, App State's put together a 25-5 year. They're expected to win their conference, but there are no guarantees. Grand Canyon, 24-4. Indiana State, who's had a really nice season, they've won 25 games. McNeese State's won 25 games. This is the 12 line. One of these teams is going to beat a 5.
If they can get in.
Correct.
If they can get in. I think it's McNeese State, by the way, that people are trying to make the case that they really should get an at-large, that they're that good, that where they are in the metrics is so much higher where a team in that conference can usually get to. That they're not an at-large based on the metrics. Usually you've got to be in the low 40s to get an at-large. And I think they're in the mid to upper 50s in terms of the metrics. But there are a lot of people in the sport who are like, have you seen them play? Have you seen what they've done to decent teams? That's a tournament team. And instead of the 7th and 8th place team from 3 or 4 conferences getting that bid, there are those every year, and usually Miller and Moulton are part of those that are like, gotta be honest, instead of a league getting 8, how about you give them 7 and you make sure Drake gets in so we can see DeVries' kid, who's phenomenal, play. Like if they lose in the Valley final, I don't know that Drake's getting in because Drake didn't play much of a schedule this year. Yeah, you know why? No one will play him. They're good. They're experienced. Remember, they had Miami beat in the first round last year and choked it away and then missed shots late. They had Miami, Final Four Miami, had them beat. They returned 4 starters off that team. I mean, DeVries, coach's son, he could be Bryce Drew, to be honest with you. You put Drake in the tournament, DeVries could have 2 tournament games and carry them to a Sweet 16, and he could literally be Bryce Drew 25 years later.
But the talk is that they're not getting in.
I know.
Because it's Indiana State and Drake, right?
Yes. And I mean, really? I mean, do we... what's also come out in recent days, Mark? Some people are going after the Big 12. And they're saying, can we look at their non-conference schedule? Because if you take Kansas and a little bit of Houston out of the equation, the Big 12 has gamed the system, Mark. They didn't schedule anybody most of November and December. So they all got off to great starts. Well, once you get to a certain point, guess what you become? You become a quad 1 or quad 2 team. And then what happens? Conference play.
And you
so
all play
now,
one another. So you're getting all these quad 1 games. And more importantly is you get the quad 1 losses. Yeah, the quad 1 wins are important. But when we start getting into these nets, it's just the quad games that you play, which is a little ridiculous to me.
Right. And so instead of having, there are teams out there that have a lot of quad 3 and quad 4 games on their schedule. They didn't game the system properly.
Well, David, just to that point real quick, Houston, I'm looking at it right now. They're 8-3 in quad 1, 6-0 in quad 2, and they've played 11 quad 3 and quad 4 games. Obviously didn't lose any of those. So they did play 11 quad 3/4, and that's Houston.
Right. And that's how they then made sure that, they got off to the great, and they were really good. Obviously, they didn't have to play a schedule like that. But this is why also what Izzo does is so different from everybody else. I mean, Kansas will play just about anybody anywhere.
And always has.
Right. And they're really good, and he's a Hall of Fame coach. And so they don't have to game the system. But and some people are Jeff Capel of Pitt, very calmly, and he said, "Hey, I coached 5 years at Oklahoma. It's a great league with great coaches." He goes, "But look at what we did as a conference in November and December. Look at who we scheduled, and look at who they scheduled, and because of it, they're all quad 1 teams." And we only have like 4 quad 1 teams and a bunch of quad 2 teams. And now when we're in conference play, we're not getting credit for what we do compared to what they're getting credit for what they do. And I think he then pointed out, is it the ACC Big 12 now?
Yes.
And he said, we went 9-3 in that tournament. How can we suck?
And you look at, because this was Clemson for all those years. Clemson started scheduling because they got put in that frame. And when it came tournament time, they weren't getting the bid because they didn't play anybody. They've changed their methodology.
But it's interesting how there was the way to game the system with RPI, and now there's a different way to game the system with net. And you've got to figure out a way to play quad 1 and quad 2 games. And
it doesn't matter what you do with them. That's the part that drives me nuts.
Right.
Yeah, like you guys, like Mark has alluded to, the net is so important to the people who decide what the field is and what the rankings are. It's not the AP voters or anything like that. It's the net.
No, I mean, like FAU's lost to FGCU. If FAU doesn't win the American, like right now, FAU loses in the semis of the American. We sure they're in? Yeah, they got the win against Arizona. They lost at FGCU. Now,
They had 2 quad 4 losses.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know who the other one is, but I'm just looking at it right now. They're 6-2 in quad 4.
they lost at home. Who was that horrible team that it came to them? They came way back and beat them. Was it like Bryant College? Or something like that?
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
But I'm just wondering, are we sure FAU's in?
Shelby has them in as of now. He has them as a 10 seed.
But let's just say they don't.
That's pretty close. But a 10 seed's really close to when they lose a game, they drop down maybe to that 11 line. Now you're at the play-in category.
Exactly. And let's just say FAU's in the semis of the American. Is that essentially their play-in game? Because they're going to be a 2 or a 3 seed. So in theory, they should get to the semis, and then they'll play a toss-up game. Is that the play-in game for FAU? That if they get to the final, Memphis,
I hope
South
so.
Florida,
If they get to the final and lose to South Florida and they both don't get in, that would be a travesty. It really would. To take a Final Four team that brought everybody back, had to take everybody's best punch, played a good season,
Played a good schedule also.
Right. But what, didn't they get Arizona? That might be enough, right?
Well, what people are saying is that the good win means more than the bad loss. Why?
Not for South Florida.
Well,
no, I mean, because they lost to Central Michigan and they lost one other game to a bad team, and that's what everybody's holding over their head. That's why their net is what it is.
I was going to add, though, however, you usually have to be established first.
Okay.
Or not a mid-major. Because it seems as if they always hold the bad loss over the mid-major as opposed to holding it over the Power 5. Like RCB's asking, is South Florida on the bubble? No, they're not good enough, according to the committee, to be on the bubble.
They're not in the last 4 in. They're not in the first 4 out. They're not in the next 4 out.
Yeah, they're not in the picture. They'd have to win the tournament, which is unfortunate. I'm with you guys.
I hope he does, just to stick it to the whole college basketball establishment.
Unfortunate. It's ridiculous. How can you be in first place in one of the 10 best leagues in the sport and not even have a snowball's chance of getting an at-large bid to the tournament? I mean, I'm sorry. You got to think about what it is you're doing here. It doesn't make sense.
And basically the way, FAU is the only FAU and Dayton's not really, you can't really call that, but FAU is the only mid-major team that is above the 12 line.
To give you an idea, St. John's is considered pretty far out. Their net's 40. FAU's is 36.
Well, St. John's is in the last 4 in right now, according to Shelby.
Wow. One home win gets them in, huh? That's interesting.
The white suit doesn't hurt.
Teams we've mentioned, by the way, Mark. Drake 51 in the net. Princeton's 52. Remember, didn't Princeton go to the Sweet 16 last year? I mean, they had that major upset. Was it Arizona? Who'd they knock off last year? Early. It's a big upset. Or no, they took out Missouri in the second round. They went to the Sweet 16. Princeton did. And then I think UConn took them out. McNeese State, 55. Grand Canyon, 54. James Madison, 53.
And these schools aren't getting in unless they win their conference. There's no way. And it's disgusting to us.
Care to take a guess as to where South Florida is in the net?
62.
Higher.
Give it to me.
Yale is 84. South Florida is 85. Well, Yale's a good team. They are. Ivy's good. Top of the Ivy's good this year. Cornell, Yale, Princeton. Ivy is good this year. But South Florida's got a net of 85. Miami's is 88, by the way.
So we are continuing to stick our chest out for the mid-major, and we're continuing to get shot.
You know what sucks even more about it is they think that the way to fix this, quote unquote fix, is to expand the tournament.
And that is the most.
It's not the answer. It shouldn't be the answer. That's so lazy. Let's just put more teams in because we can get more games, more TV revenue, all that good stuff. But then you don't have to hold our feet to the fire as much. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And every time I hear a national show go into a debate on how many teams they put in, I literally turn the radio off. I don't know. I'll still watch the tournament, but if they expand it, it loses a lot for me. A lot.
South Florida's won 13 in a row. They have 3 regular season games left. 2 of them on the road, including Saturday. They're at Charlotte. Charlotte's in second place, tied with FAU in the league. I mean, but let's just say they extend the winning streak to 16. Then they win 2 American Conference games. South Florida could have an 18-game winning streak and be in the AAC final and have no chance of getting an at-large if they lose.
No chance.
Even if they lose to FAU, who will be in the tournament before they tip the game off. Because we have to put an 8th place team in from a Power 5 league. Maybe even a 9th place team. Have to.
We will all be pulling for the Bulls in the conference tournament.
Yeah.
Colorado, St. John's, Villanova, Gonzaga are your last 4 in right now, according to Shelby.
Colorado, St. John's, Villanova. Real the Zags?
Yes.
They're that close to being out?
Yes. Oh, have been for a while.
They were completely out of the picture. They've come on strong the last couple
Well,
weeks.
that's why I'm surprised they're that close to the line. They're playing really well here the last 2+ weeks.
Along the network, have a terrific weekend. Enjoy whatever sport you're going to take in. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning at 6 a.m. In the 239, the Diamond District bonus hour, that comes next. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, the A-Sun's adding West Georgia, which led me to the conclusion that West Georgia is actually a college.
Let's see. They're losing Kennesaw. So I'm guessing that's to keep it at 12. They join in next year?
Yeah. I had to laugh. These little softball teams using college teams as their nicknames. You know, the FGCU merchandise that was in the stands last night from all the moms, really helping out the. Since we're the FGCU Eagles, that's the name of Maddie's team.
Right.
All the parents run out and get FGCU stuff so they can all.
That's funny.
Coach's wife had the FGCU softball T-shirt on. Didn't know there was FGCU softball shirts.
By the way, FGCU is a 1.5 point dog tonight at Jacksonville. I will say it's a must win for Jacksonville. If they don't win, they're probably not making the playoffs. They win, they're in.
Who do you think wins?
I always pick the team who needs it more. It's not always works, but I mean, it is the season for Jacksonville.
Yeah, Earnhardt is taking off 2024.
That's so.
And he's moving to Amazon Prime and TNT's NASCAR coverage, which begins next season.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Friday, the first day of March. Hope you've had a good week. Thanks for ending your week with us in some way, shape, or form. We really appreciate it. Miller and Moulton. We talked about a lot of things today. We went in depth at the Combine with Pat Kirwan for 30 minutes, talked a little Marlins with Kyle Sielaff last hour. If you ever miss any part of the show, go to floridasportsnetwork.com, and one day you'll probably go to millerandmoulton.com. So just, keep us in mind if you ever miss any part of the show where you can download
go
it.
to millerandmoulton.com and get it.
Is still?
I literally just checked. Just checked because I was wondering if it still worked.
That's how we roll, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we roll. National guest at Bargain Basement Prices. Yep. Big game tonight for FGCU. It's an interesting game. It could mean nothing. And it could be big in terms of giving them a better chance to win the A-Sun and make the dance. Mark, FGCU is 7th. Top 6 teams in the A-Sun get a bye. 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10. The winner of 7-8 plays the 2 seed. The winner of 9-10 plays the 1 seed. And the difference is, obviously, why play 4 games in a week to try to go to the dance when you can only play 3? So if FGCU in Jacksonville, where they spanked North Florida on Wednesday, if FGCU beats Jacksonville tonight, the 6 seed North Alabama is playing Central Arkansas, and Central Arkansas needs to win to have a chance to make the playoffs. Ironically, the team FGCU is playing, Jacksonville, needs to win to make the playoffs. So in a perfect storm, Mark, FGCU beats Jacksonville, Central Arkansas beats North Alabama, FGCU moves up to the 6th line. Jacksonville's out, and Central Arkansas with the win gets in.
But for that to happen, Central Arkansas, which has won just one of its last 8 games, would have to win tonight against North Alabama. They are at home. North Alabama is a 4.5-point favorite against Central Arkansas.
So that's what FGCU needs. They need a win and a little help to move up to the 6th line and a first-round matchup with Lipscomb in Nashville. But if they can get to the 6th line, then they, quote, only, unquote, have to win 3 games to get to the tournament. If they lose or they end up on the 7 line, then they'll have to play a play-in game. So they'll have to win 4 games in 6-7 days to make the tournament. The ASUN's wide open this year. It's not, it's down. It just is. The ASUN, I mean, 2 years ago, FGCU was the 5th best team in the league with 22 wins. All right. That team this year would win the ASUN. It would. Also, what FGCU team are we going to get? We're going to get the team that's had some, I mean, North Florida came to FGCU, pounded them. We all know what FGCU has done this year. They beat FAU. They've just pounded 2 teams. And in between, they've lost some games, and they've lost some badly. We get good FGCU. Mark, this reminds me a little bit of when we went to Macon, especially if they can be the 6. You know, when we went to Macon back in 2012, Andy's first year, they went to Macon on a 4-game losing skid. No expectations. They were playing the 3 seed. If they won, they played the 2 seed. If they won, they played the 1 seed. All 3 teams had 20-plus wins entering the conference tournament.
Just a quick sidebar, David. There's not one ASUN, to your point of how down the league is. At this moment in time, there's not one ASUN team with 20 wins.
Not only that, Mark, I don't know if there's an ASUN team. We were just talking about the net rating. I'm willing to bet large amounts of money there's not an ASUN team in the top 150. I might be willing to even bet money there's not an ASUN team in the top 200. To give you an idea that when FGCU went to the tournament, not before they did anything in the tournament, but the FGCU team that went to the Sweet 16 11 years ago, wow, that team entered the tournament with an RPI in the low 90s. I don't know if there's an ASUN team in the top 200 right now.
Lipscomb is 160.
Okay. But I'm curious where Eastern Kentucky is, because Eastern Kentucky is actually the first place team in the conference. Now, Stetson, with South Florida doing all the good work they've done in February, Stetson beat Central Florida. Stetson beat Central Florida in Orlando early in the season. So all these good wins by UCF should be helping Stetson's net.
Eastern Kentucky, to your point, despite leading the conference, they're 194, and Stetson's not far behind at 199. And that's the top 3 in the ASUN. So there's 3 ASUN teams in the top 200.
2 of them barely. And they're the top 2 seeds in the tournament. My point is, this ASUN tournament, you want to talk about what Miller and Moulton get absolutely gaga about. This is a bid wide open. Wide open. I'm not kidding. FGCU can win this bid. The way they've played the last 3 halves of basketball, the final half against Queens at home and their performance in North Florida, that team keeps playing for another week and a half, that team can cut down the nets.
The performance against North Florida is the best game they've played since the FAU game. They shot it lights out.
Yep.
They dominated a good team on the road, a decent team on the road in that conference.
Held them to 32% from the field, shot 52% from the field, made half their threes.
But the other side of this is, and I don't know how much pressure there ever is on FGCU anymore because I don't know how much people care. I don't.
That's fair.
But if a conference is this down and they end up as the 7th seed and they end up bowing out in 2 games, they win their play-in game and lose to Stetson, who's right now the 2 seed, then you'd have to look at the season as a colossal disappointment for them. They can fix everything that's been broken with this year.
Totally.
But anything short of a conference championship, then they're going to finish, right around 500, if not a few games under 500. And it's back-to-back years for Coach Chambers that have been disappointing.
So they've won a couple in a row. They've looked good. They've got some elements on this team which you go, that's not bad. I mean, they got a big, and you go, oh, he can play. They got a wing, and you're like, oh, he can play. All right. They've got a couple guards, and at times you've gone, oh, those guys are good. I mean, there's a reason this team was picked top 3 in the league preseason. They've had a disappointing, inconsistent year, but this is the beauty of this sport. It can be totally forgotten in the next 10 days. And you wonder, and this is the funny thing, Mark, would it benefit them to move up to the 6? I think it would, even though they'd played Lipscomb in Nashville. And as Trent just pointed out, according to the net, Lipscomb's actually the best team in the league.
But 3 games versus 4.
Right. And I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday next week, I think, is the ASUN schedule if you have to play 3 games. The 4 games is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then whenever the final is. The play-in game is also interesting in that you're playing on a neutral court. Like right now, they're the 7. And they would play, the teams that are tied for 8th actually play each other tonight. So FGCU, I don't believe they can fall out of the 7-8 game even with a loss. So they're going to play the winner of Kennesaw Queens unless they can move up. They have not fared well, by the way, against Kennesaw State and Queens. They're 1-3 against those 2 teams this year, but they did just beat Queens last weekend. But let's just say FGCU stays where they are. They're going to play Monday. Right now, they would play at the site of the 2 seed, Stetson, in DeLand. That's a break. That's the shortest road trip they can have. That's a 3.5-hour bus ride. They'll play Monday. Let's say they win. They'll play Stetson Tuesday. Same place. And you can argue, is it an advantage? You've played. You're ready to go. Yeah, they're fresher, but pressure's on them. Stetson's not going to draw more than 1,000 people. And you're ready to go. And who knows? Maybe you're on a bit of a roll. Maybe you beat JU, you win the play-in game. You got a 4-game winning streak. And the last time you played Stetson in Stetson, you lost by 1. So it's, if you're into the madness, you're into the little school in a 1-bid league in our backyard right now, this is it.
We don't even get any of this on TV until the final either, right? Do they even bother with ASUN stuff on the 4-letter network or the Deuce?
Well, I'm ESPN Plus.
Well, right.
I'll be watching.
But yeah, the final is, I'm pretty sure it's ESPN 2. That's what it's been over the years. Although I think one of the years when after FGCU made their run, the final might have been put on the mothership, as Dan Patrick would say.
One of the years that it was, because they used to be the first bid given out.
When they went to the tournament the first time, it was the noon on the first Saturday of madness, if you will. And yeah, I text Vern, who was doing the 2:00 game for CBS. I texted him and said, just so you know, first team of the tournament is FGCU. Okay, that stands for Florida Gulf Coast University. And then I put in parentheses, don't screw it up. Part of my charm, Mark.
I was going to say, David, that certainly is part of your charm. Hall of Fame announcer, Super Bowls, Masters.
Yep.
Don't screw up FGCU. Whatever you do, Vern, don't screw up FGCU, Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
For those that are interested, the ASUN final will be 1 o'clock Sunday, the 10th on ESPN2.
The 10th?
Yep, not this Sunday, but next.
Nice.
1 o'clock. But you're right, Mark. It'll be a bad look. Like, they could, in theory, lose their next 2 games and finish 13-19.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they will, but
But even if, David, even if they, let's just say they win tonight, win the next one, and lose to Lipscomb, the season's still a colossal failure. Colossal failure.
yeah, 15-18. Yeah.
15-18, you picked third in your conference, and you finish under 500. That's a joke.
Well, the other thing is he's losing half the team, which, he'll argue is a good thing. But the other thing is this season's coming off how they finished last year. They went 4-11 in their last 15 last year. So, like they're 13-17 right now. So do the math. They're 17-28 in their last 45. And about the only good thing that's happened is the FAU win. I mean, really. So I hope they win a couple. I do think, though, and I should have brought this up, they're not a deep team. So I do think the difference between playing 3 or 4 for this team would be big. I mean, we saw it in Macon. Remember? First off, that team wasn't deep. They had to play 3 games in 3 nights.
Wow, go Raiders. Good for him.
Wow.
FGC is missing their top 3 projected scores to injury. Is that true, David?
You mean tonight? Zach Anderson scored 26 or 28 on Wednesday. I mean, unless they're sitting them out tonight. I don't know. I mean, they've got guys out injured, but they've been out injured a long time, actually. And 2 of the guys out injured had fallen out of the starting lineup when they got injured.
I feel like I should get you those doggy things. I can put the pill in and then you just swallow the.
God. I used to break them up when I was a kid. I used to break them up and put them in pudding. Ugh.
This is painful watching you take pills.
I've never had a problem, but
Neither have
I know a lot of people that do.
I know it's.
I've never had a problem. I'm like you. I could take it without even a drink.
Just
like,
get a little,
swallow it.
just get a little saliva in my mouth and down the pill. It's.
Meanwhile, I drown them.
You're over there. Yeah. And the one looked like it was a really small one too, and it, like he's got 2 fingers on it to make sure he doesn't miss his mouth. Let it pop out. Look at that. Put your chin against your chest and swallow. Works like a charm.
Here we go.
All right.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com, millerandmoulton.com. Our poll question, it's National Pig Day. So what do you like best? Ribs, pulled pork, pork chops, or bacon?
Bacon, the overwhelming winner today, David. People like their bacon.
Do you know my doc used bacon to deliver the news about my kidney cancer? He told me I had cancer.
Excuse me?
I went, yeah. And which for me was perfect. I mean, you know how we like analogies. You know, hey, could you break that down for me? Yeah. And so he said, well, here's the deal. Imagine your kidney is a scallop. Okay. And it's a scallop completely wrapped in bacon. The bacon's the cancer. I go, any way to remove the bacon from the scallop? He goes, absolutely not. I go, so we're throwing the whole thing out, are we? He said, yes, we are. I went, okay. So with me, that worked perfectly. It was comforting. It really was. So I tried the same analogy with my wife to deliver the news. Not as comforting.
No, I don't think it would be.
You know, funny enough, they used a food analogy for me as well. They said you got a lemon-sized thing, and then, you know, whatever. We only got to talk about that. But that's funny that we both got our news in the form of a food analogy.
Was that?
I think it would be more comforting. At least you can relate to it. I mean, you know the size of it. You know what they're talking about. You've had a scallop wrapped in bacon once or twice in your life.
Right?
Mostly delicious.
Thank you. In fact, I'm like, oh, wow, scallops and bacon. That's wow, that sounds really good right now.
In fact, is that on the hospital menu? What can I get a scallop and bacon after you take the kidney out?
I don't laugh. I actually, after the surgery, he came in and I go, hey, Remember, you said it was a scallop wrap with bacon. I go, any chance? He just laughed. He said, "You'll be lucky if you get Jello in the next couple of days." I'm like, okay, good, thanks. So, yeah,
Bacon wins it.
I mean, think about it. I was told I had cancer. He used bacon in the analogy. It was comforting. How could bacon not win this question?
You know what? It's a dadgum good point, David. It's a dadgum good point.
I didn't think it'd win it this big, though. I thought actually this was going to be I thought it was a really good poll question you came up with.
I was torn between ribs and pulled pork. Bacon would be a distant third to me. We did find out that Trent likes ribs. We're finding more that Trent actually eats. There are a few foods that he likes because it's terrible what we've brought to this show. Skinny, but the junk food part, he fits right in with you, David.
Yeah, there's no evidence that he eats, actually. There's none. He's talked about it. We just haven't seen it.
I'm not a picky eater. There's really not much I won't eat.
You don't like food, though.
I don't need a whole lot. Not a big guy.
Well, stick around us. We can change that. So anyway, that's our poll question. Feel free to vote. All right. We're into R&D on this show. You know that. So, Miller and Moulton. Lots of hoops this weekend. You told me something during a commercial break a couple of breaks ago that it's probably not a big story. I don't even know if it's a minor story. But what do you mean Dale Jr. is not going to be broadcasting NASCAR this year?
His contract's up, and it was not renewed.
What?
His contract was up with NBC. It was up at the end of last year. He did an interview with Andrew Marchand of The Athletic, and he said, my contract with NBC was up at the end of last year. I'm currently working through what that looks like for me. I definitely love being in the booth and want to continue doing that. But all accounts are he's taken this year off, and he is going to move to TNT Sports and Prime Video as their analysts for their coverage, which begins next year.
Who's doing the races then for NBC? Fox is so much better than NBC. My goodness.
They don't have any idea.
So let me get this straight. They get rid of Azinger. They have no idea who they're replacing him with on golf. They get rid of Earnhardt Jr., and they have no idea who they're replacing him with.
No, I mean, this is NBC's a spokesperson told The Athletic. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is beloved in the NASCAR world and has made numerous contributions to NBC Sports, from his work as an analyst on NASCAR coverage to his experience as a correspondent at major events like the Indianapolis 500, the Kentucky Derby, the Super Bowl, and the Olympics. We thank Dale and wish him the best going forward.
I know this is an Olympic year, for goodness sakes. How can you get rid of your main analysts and have no idea who you're replacing them with? I mean, they're still. Are they going tournament to tournament with golf?
Well, Luke Donald came on yesterday. Luke Donald, because he lives 10 minutes from the course. Hey, how about you come and be the analyst? That's how they literally brought him on. They showed some Ryder Cup stuff. I happened to have the golf on yesterday, and they're bringing Luke Donald. And they're showing some of his highlights, and they bring him on, and they say, well, your commute wasn't bad. It sounded literally like they hired him because he was the closest guy they could get to the booth. This is like the old USC running backs. Open the window and go, first one here gets a scholarship.
Shows you what he thinks of the tournament in Palm Beach. He lives 10 minutes away, won't even play in it. Not that, what changes they've made on tour has affected, the tournaments any. Their status.
There's no players near that tournament, David. I mean, nobody lives in Jupiter.
Right. Exactly. Right. I mean, yeah, there's no golfers in and around Palm Beach.
None.
None
whatsoever.
No. I don't know how you get anybody here. I think the only reason Rory's playing is because he played that. And by the way, you had to tell me that the damn match happened. I didn't even put it in the starting five earlier this week. I didn't even know it was going on. And I did the story about
and
Lexi and Homa. I did the story in which about, hey, here's who's going to be in the match. And it got so much publicity, I didn't even know it took place.
Got so many viewers that I don't know if they're going to have another one.
Yeah, what'd you say? They got
500,000 viewers.
Like
511,000 viewers watched the match on TNT on Monday night.
I mean, that only slightly beats the LIV on CW. But Rory won the match, and it was in Palm Beach, so he probably said, well, what the heck? Might as well play.
Yeah, because there's no one in this tournament again.
There's Rory and Ricky, and otherwise...
And Ricky's a name, but he's not
the
level of golfer.
Right, but just a name even.
Yeah.
No,
he took his shoe off and hit one out of the water yesterday. It was the highlight of the day for me.
So, Anthony Kim, by the way, made his return to competitive golf today in Saudi Arabia. That's where LIV is. So, he shanked a shot on his front nine. Don't feel bad. Tiger just did that, so we've all done it.
For the record, John Rahm tied for the lead in the Live tournament at 8 under.
Does that count? If he wins it, does it count or no?
DeChambeau's tied for third. There's 2 at 8 under, 1 at 7.
Wow. So let me get this straight. So Rahm and DeChambeau is their leaderboard. Chad Ramey and Siwoo Kim tied atop the Cognizant.
Joaquin Neiman and Charles Schwartzel also tied at 7 under. Louis Oosthuizen at 6. Gooch at 5. No, I mean, you look at Mickelson at 5. I don't know. DJ, I mean, that leaderboard looks a little more interesting to me than the PGA Tour leaderboard, and it ain't close. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when and what's on tap. Plus, we'll take our bets. Our system has a play tonight. We'll give it to you next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
SEC Media Days are in Dallas.
Really?
At the Omni Hotel in Dallas.
That's awful.
The Big 12's meetings are usually there in Dallas. They're in Vegas this year. The SEC Media Days in Dallas.
So bad.
You know, I saw they announced the schedule yesterday, and I just assumed it was near Birmingham.
I'm double checking, but yeah, SEC Media Day will take place at the Omni Hotel in downtown Dallas, July 15th through the 18th. Did I don't know if Dad was listening yesterday, Trent, but did anybody come at you at all that was listening going, you don't know what a fax machine was?
No, I got nothing from nobody, so we're still all right.
I was thinking about that yesterday all day.
You know what's funny? Like, I remember seeing, like, in early elementary school, and people would put their phone number, their email, and their fax. Like, they would list that out. Like, every teacher had that. It's like, I remember when it was still kind of a thing, but I never had to use one. I never.
Now, Kilo's dad, my baseball fandom cannot be purchased. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan. True and true. That is my only team.
And they're going to be good this year.
We'll see.
Good.
Well, relative.
No. What? Put it this
to-
way: 81.5 over under.
Over. They'll be above 500, I think. And unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, if you're a Tigers fan, that might be all it takes to win the Central. So that's all it's taken the last few years.
You think?
And Kilo's dad, I do like the Orioles. I like the Orioles because of their style, but it's tough because I'm a Rays guy too. I love the Rays.
You think the Tigers are better than the Twins today?
I don't know. The Twins are the one team that I'm afraid of.
Team futures, regular season wins.
But David, I'm really high on some of the young Tigers players. Like, I think Riley Green and Torkelson are both gonna take a step.
80.5 is the over-under.
You're getting Mize back off Tommy John. Matt Manning showed flashes last year. Skubal is gonna break out this year. I have no doubts about it. So I'm a little bit higher on some of the younger players than a lot of people, and that's where my optimism comes from. But either way, I'm just excited to watch them. They're finally watchable again.
Don't you have to take the Red Sox over-under 79.5? Don't you have to go under there,
Yeah.
David?
Yes. Yep.
Just the division they play in, too. It's
right. The Reds are at 82.5. Where are you going to go?
Oh, over. Oh, I like the Reds this year.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Friday, March 1st edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. Oh, the madness.
You know, I'm dangerous on this Hard Rock app because I just bet the Cincinnati Reds over during the commercial break.
That took you like 20 seconds. David mentions it. Mark goes right to the app.
Well, I had the over-unders out. I was looking at Detroit's, looking at a few other teams, looking at just that division. And one of our listeners said Reds over easy. So I looked at what the number was. It's 82.5. And David was like, over all the way.
Yep. Because that's basically what they won last year. Didn't they win 81 games last year, right around there? Oh, they're a much better team this year. Much better.
And what's anybody in that division done? Right.
So, no. I think if you're going to bet over-unders, you bet the ones either way that as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, and whether it's over or under, those are the bets you make. Like last year, I bet 2. Astros under, because it was 98.5. I went, no, that's too much. And Diamondbacks. Remember, Diamondbacks came out like 73.5, 74, and Mark's my witness. You know, I didn't think they were going to the World Series. In fact, I didn't even say they were going to make the playoffs.
You didn't say they're a playoff team, but you said they're going to be a 500 baseball team this year.
And I said they would finish 3rd in that division. And they finished 2nd. But I said they're going to finish ahead of the Giants. So I know they're going to go over their number. And they ended up being ahead of the Padres. So,
who were the biggest disappointment in baseball last year?
And the Mets said, well, we appreciate that because we must be 2nd. So thanks.
Well, the Mets had injuries as well. There were reasons behind the Mets. I don't know if there was many reasons behind what the Padres did.
No, because the Padres, kept their run differential kept increasing, and they kept losing games in the standings. It was a remarkable season they had.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
There was a lot of stuff, so I tried to pick some highlights. Today was the first census being authorized in 1790.
How'd we do? How'd we do on our count? Do we know?
You know what? It didn't have it. So it just said it was authorized. I don't know when we started it, but we authorized it today. Probably didn't start counting until a little later. 1803, Ohio admitted as the 17th state.
Hey, welcome.
OH. Oh, no. Nebraska comes in at state 37 in 1867. Added 20 states between Ohio and Nebraska. Today in 1947, the Cleveland Indians moved their spring training to Phoenix, where it was much more racially tolerant than Florida, as they were planning on bringing Larry Doby to their team. JFK established the Peace Corps today in 1961. I thought this was an interesting little tidbit today because I'd never heard this before, David. Today in 1968, part of the roof blew off the Spectrum in Philadelphia, forcing the Flyers to play the last month of the season on the road. Couple of things happened in 69. Espo sets the single season point record. Mickey Mantle retires. And Jim Morrison whipped it out in Miami.
Oh, boy. You meant the guitar, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
He didn't play the guitar. He was a singer.
No, I know. I was
just making sure we're all on the same page there.
Right. Yep.
Pink Floyd releases Dark Side of the Moon today in 1973. And Lenny Wilkens is the first coach to 1,000 wins today in 1996. Chopin, Glenn Miller, David Niven, Dinah Shore, Pete Rozelle, and Harry Belafonte all born today. Roger Daltrey is 80. Hollywood Henderson.
I think we all had the under, right?
Yeah.
Just figuring he just, partying with that band.
Right. At some point, just spontaneously combust.
Well, didn't Keith Moon only make it to how old was he?
Oh, in his 30s?
Yeah. So, yeah, we had the under there for sure.
Hollywood Henderson is 71. Ron Howard is 70.
His hairline hasn't moved in 40 years.
Ron Francis is 61. Chris Webber is 51. And Biebs and Tyreek Hill are both 30 today. Does Biebs being 30 make you feel old, Trent?
Yeah, it does. And I like him a lot, by the way. I was growing up when he was the heartthrob. and all the girls loved him, and the guys like hated him.
I can see
I
that.
never did. I thought he was great. I loved his music.
Wow.
Happy guy.
A Biebs fan over there.
A believer. That's what they used to call him.
It's true.
What'd I miss, David?
Actually, a few historic landmarks. So we have the Constitution now.
Right.
It started as the Articles of Confederation. It took us 4 years to ratify. It was really weak. It established like no federal power. I think there are a lot of people today that would love to go back to an Articles of Confederation. But 240 years ago, they took a look at it and they went, oh, what the heck's this? The states have all the power. We got to give the federal government some power, which led 6 years later, they started doing the Constitution and we ratified what we currently have in 1789. But the beginning work product, if you will, Mark. The Articles of Confederation were the work product.
Right. Maryland became the 13th state to ratify it, then putting it into existence.
That was today in 1781. Yellowstone, our first national park today, 1872. What else do we have? I thought I had something else. Oh, yeah, the Lindbergh baby was kidnapped today in 32. That was a big deal. That was like if we had cable news then, that would be the only thing they would have talked about 24 hours a day.
Right. There's like a kid in a well.
Yes, in Texas, exactly. And the story ended tragically, by the way. And Kennedy established the Peace Corps today in 61.
Yeah, I had that.
Did you? Good for you.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to North Carolina, where a cat was tucked in a hood of a car. The car was about to be crushed in the junkyard. And the person running the machine opened the hood to take out the battery before he junked the car, and the cat literally jumped out into his arms. They worked with the Brother Wolf Animal Rescue. Someone had lost the cat recently, and they were able to get the cat, who was nearly smushed, back with its owner. For the bad, we go to Port Charlotte, where a months-long investigation into a series of liquor store thefts has ended because 4 teenage girls from St. Petersburg were arrested in Port Charlotte trying to steal liquor from a Publix liquor store. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office had staked out the public liquor's parking lot, and the 4 girls aged from 15 to 17 came in with their purses that they were stealing booze in. 2 were detained at the store, 2 ran. They were both picked up quickly. 50 bottles of liquor were found inside of the car. Finally, the ugly. We go to Collier County, where Collier County sheriffs arrested Paul Antano Wednesday night. He fled from deputies when they attempted a traffic stop, and while he was fleeing the deputies, he threw some stuff out his window. It turned out to be a half a kilo of Peruvian marching powder.
Oh, boy.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, March the 1st, 2024.
So NBA tonight, not a great schedule, but Dallas is in Boston. That's a 7:30 game on ESPN. The 10 o'clock game is Milwaukee at Chicago. Wow. But no Lakers tonight. You know, the Warriors are in Toronto. You know, no Heat, no Magic. So, NHL tonight, only 3 games as well. Nothing marquee. I mean, Flyers, Capitals, or NHL Network's kind of interesting because the Caps, in theory, could chase down the Flyers. Or 6 points back. I guess.
I don't get the league schedule. They figured out they just play on certain nights, and then the other nights there are hardly any games. I don't get it at all.
The NHL has become a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday league.
Yes.
And they throw a few games on Sunday if one of the, if they're national TV partners like, listen, we don't have anything. Could you give us a game? Yeah, okay. But the NHL's become Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
FGCU at Jacksonville tonight. Jacksonville is a 1.5-point favorite.
It's senior night at Jacksonville. They must win to make the ASUN playoffs. FGCU got a big win at North Florida that makes sure they won't be in the 9-10 playing game. They could win tonight and move up to the 6 seed. But right now they're in the 7-8 play-in game in the ASUN tournament next week.
But, David, we have one system play tonight.
We do.
21st ranked Dayton is on the road at Loyola. Dayton is a 1.5-point favorite.
It's a good game. They're tied for second in the in the A10, a game back of Richmond. It's a good game. This right now would be an A10 semifinal game. I mean, this is a good game. So we have a lot of system plays over the weekend, though. Like tomorrow, for instance, Iowa State's in Orlando at UCF. They're going to be favored. Illinois at Wisconsin tomorrow. Big Ten Network, 1 o'clock. They're going to be favored. South Florida. Can we really bet against South Florida?
No, they're not ranked.
Well, they are ranked.
Oh, they are ranked. That's right. They're 24th.
Now they're at Charlotte tomorrow. Charlotte is tied for second with FAU. I don't even know if South Florida is going to be favored tomorrow. That should be a very small line either way.
And South Florida's ranked 25th, my mistake, not 24th.
Top-ranked Houston's at Oklahoma tomorrow. That's a system play.
We might have to have a Saturday meeting.
Okay.
We might have to have a Saturday meeting to go over all of this. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. Because you know what? I think we may have to also, because we talked on Friday last week about all the plays we wanted to make, and we were money, and we didn't get them all in. So we probably need a meeting to make sure we get them all in, which, of course, you know what that means. We're going to get them wrong this week.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you get them right, you don't bet them. When you bet them, well, right. Okay. Trent, you got any boost? Okay. I mean, because if the Hard Rock app makes it a boost, you play it. If it's cricket and it's a boost, you play it.
I have been loving the boost lately. Let me check for you in real time right now. Usually they like to do a little something with the Florida teams.
But not today because there's no Florida teams playing. What I've got on mine is the Bucks to win against the Bulls was minus 170, now minus 120 on the money line for the Bucks to win against the Bulls.
Who do the Mavericks play?
In Boston.
In Boston, because Luka Doncic to score 30-plus and Mavs to win is plus 450. That's not a bad bet considering that if the Mavs do win, Luka's probably going to have 30-plus. So if you like the Mavs, take the boost. Take it.
Celtics are the best team in the league,
Trent's doing spring training today. He's on his way out after the show to go to Lakeland to catch the Tigers this afternoon. So safe travels for you, Trent. Taking a little seeing your brother for the weekend, a little Lakeland, a little Orlando. You're becoming a true Floridian.
Check it off the box. Next is Key West. David and I can go together because he's never been.
I can't believe all those years I lived in Fort Myers, I didn't go to Key West. Don't know why I didn't go to Fort Myers Beach up on the boat. Unreal.
I don't know why you didn't make the drive. No one likes a leisurely drive quite the way you do, David.
That's true. Well,
that's a leisurely drive because you can't go fast.
I know. My wife doesn't like it as much as I do, though. I know that's shocking to many people.
I was going to say, why is that?
Well, it's all that time in the car with me. Right. She doesn't like NHL Network radio, kind of like I do.
Times. Did you hear he ran a 4.47?
Honey, did you hear about that third line defenseman the Leafs got last night? And they didn't even give up much either. They can still make another deal. Yeah. All those hours in the car with me, trust me, Trent, you wouldn't spend it either. Miller and Moulton. Have a great weekend.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense,